The Fantasmagorium Show is proud to present Capes, Cowls, and Crusaders on this, the most hallowed of Batman Days 2024. We celebrate Bruce and the man, Bruce is the man who wears the cowl. My name is Scotty R37. I am your resident Riddler. Kat is here. She is a beautiful Bane. Tony is here, our tumultuous King Tut. And Benjamin, our dashing Harvey Dent. I welcome you all to this celebration of all things Bat.
Hello.
Yes. Hello.
Happy Batman Day 2020.
Yeah.
Happy Batman Day.
Sorry about the King Tut thing, Tony.
Oh, no, I like King Tut. King Tut was
all
one
right.
of the least egregious villains from the
Yes.
60s.
The least egregious. There we go.
So I'm wondering, just to get things all going, who is your favorite Batman? Whoever wants to go first.
I'll go. Well, no, Kat, you go. You go.
God, that's hard. So, my favorite Batman in terms of actor to play Batman, I assume this you're talking about for the movies.
Sure.
Christian Bale. I really liked him.
As Batman.
Yeah, as Batman.
Okay.
That's a good question.
Well, I think he was saying as Batman, right, Scotty? Like not Bruce Wayne, but favorite Batman. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. I still
That
think
may change.
it does. Yeah, it does change, but I do like Christian Bale's Batman.
I got to go with Pattinson.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice.
Pattinson as the actual Batman is my favorite.
Are we just talking live action Batman?
Well,
Whatever you want, man. We can
obviously
subcategorize.
I'm gonna go with Conroy, obviously.
Nice.
Sure.
And maybe a little bit of Dietrich Bader as well, because I really enjoyed his take on the character.
Yes.
But for me, Conroy.
Which guy? Which guy, Tony? I don't know that.
Dietrich Bader, who was Batman Bruce Wayne in Batman Brave and the Bold.
Brave and the Bold.
Oh, the cartoon. Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't see that.
But Kevin Conroy all the way. All day long for me.
I'm gonna offend everyone and say I love Batfleck.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say the Columbia cereal guy.
Oh no. Eugene Bird is here. I want to say hello to the chat, saying no.
So I'm assuming that his favorite is definitely
Adam West. Okay, I'm go on my date with Denise Richards. Let me know if they show up, Phantom Organist. We're here now, Eugene, and say hello to Christmas Jones for me. It's nice to see Daniel's Hot Topics. Thank you for being here, Daniel. And DJ Play Nice, rock. It's good to see you.
Yo, DJ Play Nice. What's up, dude?
Here comes Definity, and that looks like he's carrying a cup of Christ, which is nice.
Oh, wow.
Daniel's Hot Topic says, I forgot it was Batman Day. What a surprise, heavens. And he also goes on to say, my favorite Batman is Michael Keaton. Love him in Batman, and Earth 89 is my favorite Detective Comics Earth. Virtual Cantina Network is here, which is rad. I've heard a lot about you. Never seen you before. Good day.
Yes, hello.
And yeah, Daniel's Hot Topics. Kevin Conroy is my favorite animated Batman. It's my favorite animated Batman as well. But if you get a chance to check out Brave and the Bold, it's pretty cute. It's like classic 60s Silver Age of comics kind of thing.
My favorite incarnation of Aquaman ever. He's just such a dullard. It's brilliant.
Nice. Who does who voices Aquaman in that? Do you know?
Oh,
Jason Momoa.
No, I think it's Nolan North. I think. I can't remember.
Fucking Solid Snake does it.
Can I read this one? Can I read this
Yes.
one? You want to get nuts? Come on. Let's get nuts. I just love that. I love that scene.
Cashews.
That's him just going, can I do a Beetlejuice moment just once?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was the thing in the Flash that I was just like, when they showed that in the trailer or whatever, it's like, you want to get nuts, let's get nuts, and it's like, why would he say that again?
Well, and he says
That
it
was
in such
that
a
was
slow-
just as useless as when they say, "Get away from her, you bitch." And
Yes,
Yeah.
I was just gonna say that, Scotty. I was.
It's like they
just
could
gonna
shoot
say
something
that.
like that for a trailer, but to put it in the actual movie, it's like,
Yeah, and it's just, it was so tired. That's so funny, Scotty. Yeah, it's just like, get away from her, you bitch.
Yeah.
It was-
I want to say hello to Carol's Colors, because Carol Colors, I don't like her at all, and so I'm very, very happy.
well, don't be mean about it. Welcome to the channel, Carol.
Yeah, thank you for being here. Jesus
Hello.
Christ.
She gets it. She knows what I'm saying.
Hello,
She knows. If I
Carol.
were nice to her, she would be pissy.
Is that Carol's Cookie's sister?
Yes. We don't call her Carol's Cookies anymore. We don't say this.
Oh, so it's the same person. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Gotcha. Hi, Carol's Cookies. I miss you.
Oh, Carol.
So, and we'll know, I'll ask once we get past the 10-minute mark, and then I can start saying illicit things. But, like, when did you guys first get a sense of loving Batman? Like, when was it that you really, when it exploded? Like, it exploded for me in 1989. Like, I was 11 years old, and they were getting ready for, like, I had read Batman and the Outsiders. I had read a couple of comic books up until then. But when 89 happened, there were, like, cable television channels doing overnight 1966 Batman shows.
Yeah.
And in preparation, and then they would show like the serials, and I started watching it, and that's when I went back and sort of looked into the Dark Knight Returns, or well, I do remember when they killed Jason Todd. That was fucking awesome, because I was like, holy crap, they can kill comic book characters, because I wasn't really around for Gwen Stacy. And so, like, it would have been the phenomenon that was the pop culture. Holy moly, I love that book.
Oh my God, that's such a great image too. Yeah. For me, I think right before I think I was 10. Well, I'm basically the same age as you, Scotty. I'm maybe like a few months older, but before 89 came out, because I was a Spider-Man reader when I was a kid.
Me too.
So when I found out that the Batman 89 was coming out, I ventured off to find like a Batman comic, and I got sort of enveloped into the detective series of Batman comics from like 80 to like 87 or something like that. And I only read a couple of them because I was so young. I didn't really understand what was going on. Nowadays, I'd probably respect them a lot more and stuff. But they did get me ready for what I was going to see. Unfortunately, what I saw is he does no detecting. in Batman 89. But I still respected how dark it was, because the Batman detective comics were fairly dark. They were colorful. The panels were colorful and stuff, but it was a little bit darker than some of the other stuff. So.
Well, yeah, we would have been coming off of like Neil Adams and Jim Aparo in terms of the artists from late 70s, early 80s when we were getting into it.
Yeah, I got a 3-volume edition of Neil Adams' work from the 70s on my shelf as well.
Nice.
I probably did. I mean, I was aware of Batman as a character in the 90s. I remember seeing some ads, I think, for Batman Forever. I remember seeing this massive billboard for Batman and Robin that was up for months. I probably saw some of those.
The cod pieces in the billboard.
No, it was just the red logo. And then I remember I probably saw those on TV first. And when I went to see Batman Begins, it was like a curiosity because I had no idea what to expect. When I went to see that movie, it was like, oh, that was different. And we double featured it with something else, but I was still thinking about Batman all the way through it. But I didn't probably catch the Batman bug until when I saw the Dark Knight teaser trailer in December 2007. And that's when I started collecting all these tons of Batman graphic novels you see all up here on this second shelf. We got the No Man's Land 4-volume omnibus set. We got the Neil Adams stuff. We got the individual best of villain comics, Earth 1. Ton of them back there you can't see. And then I got this brand new one that just came out that I got.
Wow, that looks heavy.
It is.
Hush. Oh, I love Hush. I love Hush.
Oh, this thing's a beast. I haven't opened it yet. And then an even bigger one here. Oh, God.
Jesus, do you need a forklift?
Whoa.
The Jeff Loeb, Tim Sale
Oh, yeah.
of Batman.
Whoa.
That thing is heavy. That thing just looks heavy.
This is a wrist breaker. Heavier than a doorstop. Ugh.
Well, let me ask you: do you just have that, or have you read it?
I've read it. I've read it.
I figured you did. I'm just fucking with you.
Yeah,
That
it's got more crisp editions with laminated pages for good stories like Long Halloween, Dark Victory, Haunted Night.
Just in case you get too excited.
Oh, and then some of the classics like Killing Joke.
Killing
Oh,
Joke. Yeah. You always know that cover. You always know that cover.
Always know that cover. And more recent ones such as The Batman Who Laughs. And this is another good one, relatively recent, Three Jokers.
Oh yeah.
But I got the Nightfall trilogy in there. Those are heavy, especially since they're paperback.
Oh my god, yeah.
But the whole Scott Snyder and Tom King runs.
Do you have the No Man's Land?
I do. Those are the so you see those three, the four there, Batman, the three
Sure.
volumes. So the three
they
of them,
look equally as heavy. Yeah.
Yes.
they are. The three of them on the bottom are
Go get them. No.
the prelude to No Man's Land, and then No Man's Land Omnibus Volume Part 1 and Part 2. And this one right here is the Paul Dini Omnibus.
Oh wow.
And then these three white ones are the Neil Adams collection from the 70s. And these three big ones right here that are yellow, blue, and red are the Grant Morrison Omnibus collection.
Oh, Grant Morrison, awesome.
So they're all super heavy. Otherwise, I would get that all down. But
Come on, Cat, bring them all down. Don't leave us hanging. I'm kidding.
Yeah,
I'm kidding.
exactly.
Don't do it. Don't do it. I'm
not. Well, the one thing I do like about this villain series they have here is that they have Scarecrow, Black Mask, Man-Bat, Clayface, Ra's al Ghul, Victor Zsasz, Hugo Strange, Mr. Freeze, Poison Ivy, Two-Face, Riddler, Penguin. Those are all feature their very first debut stories, regardless of what comic they came in, and then as well as a collection of some of their best stuff. So that's actually a really neat series. I've been wanting them to publish something like that for a long time.
Okay, so I came in here tonight completely outmatched. I just found out. I do not have all of these things, but I do love the movies. Yeah.
I got those here too. I got let's see, I got Steelbook of the Batman.
Yes.
This is the second iteration Steelbook, which I like the artwork better. I thought they should have called the movie To the Batman with the card thing. I think it would have been more clever than just the Batman.
Do you think, Kat, do you think the Batman second one will be called the Batman 2, or do you think it will be called the Batman something?
He says the official title is the Batman Part 2.
Boring, but that's okay.
The Dark Knight trilogy. The covers on these ones are pretty good. They got they got Batman for the first one.
That's one of my favorite movies. My favorite
Joker
Batman.
for the second one. This is from the teaser poster.
Yeah.
And then finally, Bane from the very first teaser image of him from 2011.
Yeah.
It's yours. Do with it what you please.
Yeah, and of course, last but not least,
wondering why you would shoot a man before throwing him out of a plane.
I ate peanut butter.
Batman 4 film collection from 89 to 97.
Sweet.
All the spines
So
there.
that's the Burton Schumacher collection.
Burton
Right?
Oh man, I've always wanted to see Batman and Robin in 4K.
Man. This is the new one that's got both the Blu-ray and the 4K in it. So all the bonus features the other ones didn't have.
I think every single time I've ever bought a box set of Batman, the Tim Burton and Schumacher ones, the first thing I do is take the Batman and Robin disc out, and I put it on the closest coffee table and treat it as a coaster.
I kind of feel the same way about Batman Forever, but yeah.
No, because Nicole Kidman's very, very pretty in that movie.
I just didn't care for Val Kilmer as Batman in that one. And then Jim Carrey, I thought was just Jim Carrey as opposed to the Riddler. And then Two-Face was just
You know, we haven't talked about best Bruce Waynes yet, but I do think Val Kilmer was one of the best Bruce Waynes. Not Batman, but one of the best Bruce Waynes. You know,
Yeah,
if
he
we
wasn't bad. He wasn't bad.
no,
That's
he,
all the
well,
Batman stuff that I got up to share.
the problem with him being Batman is he's got the mole, and you can see the mole.
Yeah, but same thing with Batfleck.
Yeah, I don't share the admiration that you have for the Batfleck. He never got his own
he's
movie.
big and beefy.
was-
He looks
Yeah,
burly
he was
when he's
beefy,
Batman.
but he was never in it that much. So he doesn't.
Well, no,
really-
I know. And the thing that really sells Batfleck for me is in the Suicide Squad when he takes down Deadshot.
That wasn't even Affleck though. That was just like
That was Affleck.
That was like some stunt guy.
No, it was Affleck.
Well, it's Affleck's version of Batman, but it
Yeah.
probably was, but it wasn't.
And then
Affleck.
the Virtual Cantina
No,
Network.
he was there.
And then the Virtual Cantina Network, I'm pretty sure, is my co-host Dave from Unifying Force.
Yeah,
Hey, Dave.
Digital Justice was awesome.
Says Batman '89 stood in line for that movie for hours. I was an avid comics reader at the time, but the movie was a whole other level.
Oh,
That was a big, yeah. It was
Dave goes on to say he kind of detects in '89. They don't show a lot of that, but he figures out Joker's poison
that's true. He
combination.
does.
Yeah.
Brian Boylan.
I'm sorry. Did somebody else just
Boland.
join us?
Yes.
Brian Boland,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's Batman Jr.
Oh, hi.
I upset Brian Bolland earlier this year because
Oh,
I asked
good.
him a really stupid question, and he just responded by saying, "Sorry, was that a question?"
You got to tell the story now.
Yeah, no. I found out that oh, don't worry. Yeah, no. It had to do with the library that I work at, and it didn't really go anywhere. So
Apparently.
yeah, so it's not much of a story. It's just something that I
Does
was a bit
anyone-
embarrassed by.
Anyone remember Batman Digital Justice?
Yeah, awesome.
Oh, wow.
Great. Yeah, it was one of the, it was a comic that was done in what 91, 92, and it was all kind of made with computers, and it had a lot of holographic stuff in it. It was really cool, and it had a really crazy computer generated Joker in it. It was pretty great. I haven't read it for ages, but it is great.
Oh, here's a
Oh,
good
my.
one.
Matt G. Taylor Swift greater than Disney, Star Wars, and MCU, and Doctor Who says saw Forever and Mask of the Phantasm today in theaters.
Oh,
I'm glad you're celebrating, Matt G. I would love to see Mask of the Phantasm in theaters.
Yeah, that'd be
That-
I saw that at the London Film Festival when that came out.
really.
I saw that and Appleseed the same day.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I think Mask of the Phantasm is my favorite animated Batman film. I think. Yeah, it is.
Well, it's
'Cause
better
I-
than Lego Batman.
Well, because Killing Joke, the comic's good, but I think I didn't like the cartoon movie when they did it. I can't remember if I did or not. I don't think I liked it.
Well, there's this whole addendum with Batgirl that happens before. It's like Batgirl and Batman had sex or something. Like
Well,
there's
that-
a weird prologue that happens, and then they get to the Killing Joke proper.
Yeah, it's not great.
But
Yeah.
I never saw it because I love the book so much.
What was
And
the
one of the
one
things with those Warner Brothers direct to video, like I like when they try and do stuff, but the Batman Superman wasn't that good. I didn't really care for it. I didn't like
Neither was the movie.
I like the Batman Superman run of the comic books, and when they adapted them to animation, I was like, I didn't like the animation. I prefer the Bruce Timm Batman Superman movie.
You know, what was the one? Was it called Under the Red Hood? Was that the name of it? I fucking love that cartoon. I loved it. Because I didn't read that run with like an evil, like Robin or whatever, like later on. So I didn't know what to expect. I really like that movie. It's a movie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Under the Red
direct to
Hood.
video though.
Well, it's
But
short.
no, I know that, but I mean, it wasn't like part of like the Batman
TV. Yeah. No,
it was a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember really liking that one. Yeah.
Virtual Cantina Network says Batfleck was supposed to be the Dark Knight Batman. They just didn't quite go all the way there.
Yeah.
Well,
I
yeah,
think-
because
I
he was 47 when they cast him as Batman or whatever.
It's one of the things I quite liked about that version of Batman was that I see the Justice League version of Batman being the Batman that kind of left that had been Batman for a while and wanted to do other things and be less of a monster and more of a hero. So the Bat family's back at Gotham, sort of doing his dirty work while he's off on adventures and stuff. But
So are you
Judge-
saying that like the normal Justice League, because the cartoon of the Justice League, Batman's just he's ageless, just like every comic is. And, so you would rather have seen like the seasoned guy like they did in the Zack Snyder
in live action, yeah.
Okay.
In live action, because I think with live action,
well, that's what we got.
Yeah,
So-
well, I think with live action, you need obviously, human beings age. So it's one of the problems with Tom Holland being Spider-Man is by the time he gets a new trilogy, he's going to be like 80. So that's
but
just-
luckily he still looks like he's 14.
He still look like he's 14. Yeah.
He looks so young still. He could do 4 more trilogies and he'll still look like he's 20.
Yeah, that's why the Uncharted movie sort of didn't work.
Yeah.
Right.
So can I talk, or are you guys just gonna keep hogging all the screen time here?
Hey man,
Yeah.
jump in.
Hey.
The water's fine.
Like,
It's good to
Jesus
see you
Christ.
though, Ernesto. Thank you and welcome back.
Oh, that's Ernesto. See, Ernesto, I actually said, did somebody else join us? And they
Yeah.
said, yeah. So I tried to give you a platform, but they cut me off, sir. So
Oh no, it's fine. I'm just
Shut
like,
up, Ben.
I'm in the right spot
shut
here.
up, crime.
Yeah, no. I think I was trying to look for. I was really in the mood after the whole Dracula discussion to watch Batman versus Dracula. And
Yeah.
come to find out that I couldn't find the DVD of the movie that I already own, and because I could never find a Blu-ray of it for some reason. And when I went to HBO Max, it wasn't there. And then when I checked, it's everywhere else, but I didn't want to pay the rental fee. And then when I Googled it again, it says, oh, it's available to watch on Max. So I'm like, odd. Why can't I watch it on the platform that I just popped open? When
Yeah.
I click it on my phone to see if it'll automatically open the Max app, here it tells me, I'm sorry, but this title isn't available in your country. And I'm like, America cannot
Yeah.
have access to this movie.
Well, isn't it got to do with the fact that I think it was because it's the movie of the TV series The Batman, and I think that was made for Fox Kids, and I think there's some sort of issue with Disney over that. Weirdly,
Yeah, you remember that, right, Tony?
Yeah, probably,
Fox
but-
Kids, Fox Kids after school, the Batman TV show, right? The cartoon.
yeah, it was
Yeah,
The Batman.
and
Yeah,
that would make sense, fine, but they have the whole series, all 4 seasons on HBO Max. So the fact that the movie specifically is not there, I'm like, so
Yeah,
what
that
is
is
it
weird.
about not being available in the country? What kind of weird contract did they sign for this thing?
yeah. Maybe you got to be in Transylvania.
Man, I was about to turn on the VPN and see which country it was just to watch the damn thing.
Well, it won't be the UK because Sky have got some sort of exclusive contract with Warner Brothers, so we're probably not going to get Max here
Yeah.
for another 10 years or something.
Yeah, contracts are.
Mm.
It's ironic. It reminds me of Michael Key in The Founder. Contracts are like hearts; they're meant to be broken.
So the question stands to you, Ernesto. Who's your favorite Batman?
Oh, Kevin Conroy, hands down.
All right.
between live action, animation, and video game, it's always going to be Kevin Conroy. Every time I read a comic book, I always have Kevin Conroy's voice in my head. May he rest in peace. And he is the definitive Batman for me. I think when I was a kid, my first exposure was Mask of the Phantasm, and then I saw Batman Forever as my first live action movie, and then it started trickling down when I'm not sure, correct me if I'm wrong, unless I went back in time, I think I went and saw Batman and Robin in theaters because I do remember all the marketing for the Pop-Tarts that the kid would eat very quickly because the bat signal was broken. So he grabbed a Pop-Tart, ate it like the bat signal, used a flashlight to call Batman. I remember that commercial very vividly. So, and then I saw the Tim Burton movies, and I have a very big preference for Batman Forever. Like, even now as an adult, knowing what I know about the source material and the character, the movie just has kind of like, for the most part, a healthy balance of gothic storytelling with a little bit of silly neon lights that, okay, it's a choice.
And chicks do dig the car. Right?
Yeah.
I 100% agree with you, Ernesto. Like, I actually really like Batman Forever. I think it's probably the funnest movie of all four of them. I mean, that's debatable, obviously, but it's very fun. And apparently there's like a cut out there that Schumacher made that's got some darker elements to it. I've seen some of the deleted scenes, but they never actually put together.
Yeah, I think Kevin Smith, in one of his live shows that he does at the Cantina in LA, he had a fan in the audience who actually got to see director's cut of that version of Batman Forever that I think at this point will probably never see the light of day.
Probably.
It probably won't get money to invest in the editing, sound mixing, and
especially with the deceased Schumacher. Yeah,
I thought that there was, Kat, you might know more about this than I do, but I thought that there was an announcement of the director's cut of like the Schumacher cut.
There was hints of it from what I remember, but Kat, sorry,
being released.
It exists.
Physically.
I don't know if it was ever going to be released.
Yeah.
Which goes to my point that the way the fan was talking about it, I'm just like, as it was the moment he saw it, it's a movie that can't be released because you can see a lot of the background, the microphones, the wiring and stuff.
Yeah, it would need a full overhaul, like Justice League or something.
Yeah, it would need a Zack Snyder's cut level of editing and finance in order to make it look like like they want to actually sell this brand.
And who's chomping at the bit for that? I am.
You open an interesting door there, Ernesto, in terms of what did you guys think of the Snyder cut?
Yeah,
I enjoyed the hell out of it.
Me too.
It was very long.
Scotty, me, you, and Phil did like a whole review on it. If you remember,
Yeah.
That was like 3 years ago when it came out. I was surprised how much I enjoyed the hell out of that because I thought the original Justice League was just awful,
garbage.
So
Hot garbage.
Yeah, I enjoyed it very much, a lot better than the one we got in theaters. You don't feel the 4 hours because the pacing is very good.
Yeah,
I'm sure you can pull a 3-hour edit of this that you could put in theaters and market it as a superhero epic for the masses, but I can also see why, with all the things that were put in there, you're going to have a hard time picking what to leave and what to keep. Because a lot of the movie, you have it centered with Victor Stone and his family, that he's the heart of the movie.
Which I liked. Yeah, I love.
Well, I'll tell you what you get rid of. You get rid of that scene with Martian Manhunter. That's what you get rid of because that
you
makes
get rid
no
of
sense.
the girls singing for 5 minutes when Aquaman goes into the water.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, anything that looks like it's indulging, which I get it, but for a runtime, yeah, you can cut that down or get it out altogether. I would have reduced completely the whole scene with Barry Allen saving Iris West.
Yeah.
Like again,
That scene was
it's-
hilarious with the
Yeah.
hot dog.
yeah, it's Zack Snyder overindulging here. And well, I can
Totally,
put everything I filmed in there, so I'm going to put it here. And even then, everything he filmed doesn't show up in the Snyder Cut, because I remember him showing a picture on his social media platform that he uses, Vero, where it has Batfleck holding a mercenary's face against the wall, and we
Yeah.
never see that. And I can only assume it's the final scene where he's on top of the bat tank and he's got guys tied up in the corner somewhere.
I think there was a lot of stuff even in the Snyder Cut that didn't make that movie, because I remember seeing stills, Ernesto, of like more Jim Gordon, Commissioner Gordon. There was a lot of stuff, I think, that even though they were able to compile all this stuff for the Snyder Cut, they still left certain things out, because I do remember seeing a lot of stills that didn't end up being in either of the versions. So
I thought I did feel the runtime of Justice League. It didn't feel much different from the theatrical cut besides the ending. I mean, or besides the climax. I thought it was just
a completely different movie.
It's like not. It's just a much longer movie, a longer version of the same thing. They just changed the climax.
The villain's completely different. His motivations are completely different. Like all the characters' motivations are completely different.
It still feels like his motivation's kind of the same. But,
Steppenwolf being a lackey of Darkseid
side,
whatever, I don't fucking care.
That's how it's spelled. Darkseid.
Yeah, exactly. I'm saying it phonetically. But like he's and yes, I'm wrong. So everybody can revel in that for a moment. But so Darkseid, I thought that was interesting, and it was more inclined to a follow-up than the first one. The first one just felt really weird. Like it just didn't feel. It felt more of a rip-off of the Avengers, no doubt, because of who directed it. But it was like, I like the Snyder Cut as being a more epic. I like the Themyscira stuff.
Yeah, me too. It was way,
that was
way
fun.
better.
That was fun.
Yeah.
That was fun. Yeah.
I think that some of the musical choices, I preferred the original cut. Like I liked Seven Nation Army with Aquaman as opposed to, I think it was Hallelujah.
But so lame though when you put like Batman '89 music and Superman 77 music. It's so it's like it's that difference between diegetic. Now it's like, what are we supposed to be taking from this? Is this for the audience? It's like, no, dude. The Superman not Nolan. The Zimmer score is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Like you just use that. It's so good.
Well, and the stuff between Cyborg and Wonder Woman, I thought was really, it added to the motivations. Because people say about the DCEU is that they sort of raced towards their Justice League. But when you see the Snyder Cut, it's like, well, they did race towards the Justice League. But when you get to see the Snyder Cut, because it's longer and you get to spend more time with the characters, I think that it's more successful.
I think if you didn't have that stupid scene in Batman versus Superman of Wonder Woman seeing the flash drive of all the logo, like if you didn't have that,
oh my god, so stupid.
Like
if you didn't have that, I think people would have accepted the fact that they're all together for the first movie a little bit simpler, but that was so shoehorned and so dumb. Who made the logos?
LexCorp.
Who made the logos? LexCorp made the logos.
I mean, if to be fair, despite the criticism of that specific segment of the movie, that's something you would actually see in a comic book.
I think I'm being fair.
So no, I'm saying it's fair. I'm just saying that my defense for that scene is that that's something you would actually see in a comic book.
Really?
Yeah.
Character.
Well, it's funny because
with abilities having labels by a corporation just to distinguish them. Yeah, I can see that.
I wasn't saying it was terrible. I'm just saying that if that scene wasn't there, then
if you could cut
Justice League getting together wouldn't have been such a big deal.
But didn't Zack Snyder say that he didn't like comics
or something? She has a graphic designer.
And I kind of push back a little myself when it comes to the whole, they were rushing towards the Justice League. It's like, in the beginning, when they were trying to do their cinematic universe, a lot of people saying, "Oh, you're just going to be copying Marvel, making one movie of each character, yada yada yada." So when they try to do something different, then they criticize them for not building up towards a Justice League movie with separate character movies. And I'm just like, okay, so which lane are you going to pick here? Are you going to pick the one of them doing it differently, or are you going to pick the one of them doing it the same? You can't have both.
Well, I don't understand. Are you arguing that they shouldn't have gone straight to Justice League, or that they should have done something different, which they did because they went backwards instead of forwards? They started out.
I am arguing that there is nothing wrong with them going straight to a Justice League movie. Even years before Man of Steel came out, they were ready to make a Justice League movie and then spin off from there with separate solo movies. So with this one,
that didn't really bother me. But
yeah, it wouldn't exactly. So here we are, 2013, up until the original Justice League movie that we got in theaters. Everybody is saying about, oh, now you're just like, oh, you're just copying Marvel and stuff like that. And then when
I never felt that way.
But
I have never thought they were copying Marvel. Like,
I saw a lot of messages. I saw a lot of messages online of people saying, "Oh, they're just copying Marvel. They're just."
I'm sure there was people that said that, but I didn't see it because, first of all, it's much darker. It's yeah.
But then they flipped it and they went straight for it after Batman v Superman, with only Wonder Woman being the connecting tissue, because at that point you kind of have your Trinity ready to go. And then when the movie comes out and, everything happens as it happened, then people start saying, oh, you should have just built up toward it. You shouldn't have just rushed it. I'm just like, I mean, if you count the number of movies that came out in between both franchises, they have the same number of movies, just different approach to get to the team up.
Yeah, one was planned and the other one wasn't.
Well, they also shoehorned Wonder Woman and hints of the Flash and Aquaman and Batman versus Superman, and they didn't need to be there. Nor did Superman storyline.
Well, that's what I was saying. That whole scene.
To be fair, they did have a plan. Warner Bros. Didn't like the plan, and they started getting involved and throwing the plan out. And we got what we ended up getting, which is a big mess. And then everything had to be scrapped again.
Yeah,
I think everything kind of started to fall apart when it began with Man of Steel, because it was too expansive. It was too big. It should have been more like Superman finding his way here. It shouldn't have been so grand and like world ending as it was, because then everything after that, it's like, okay, well, here's Batman now.
Yeah.
Batman like handcuffs people for stealing a woman's purse. It's like Superman, like it was too big, too fast, I think. But
yeah.
Even in The Dark Knight Rises, when I watched that in the theater for the first time, and I was so jazzed for it, when they started blowing up bridges and infrastructure in Gotham City,
the football field,
and the football field, I was like, guys, and I said this in the theater. I was like, guys, I think this is bigger than Batman.
I didn't mind that they blew up. I didn't mind that they blew up
Superman.
Pines Ward.
We need.
They blew up Pines Ward. I was fine.
Well, if you were to find, like, I don't know why. I think maybe since Christopher Nolan, the thing about making a Batman movie with anything supernatural, I guess, is taboo at this point.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll finally start getting the supernatural shit. But once you start introducing the supernatural stuff, at what point is it too big for Batman?
Yeah. Well, that's why I think Matt Reeves' movies work so well, is because it feels fantastical, but it also feels grounded. Kat, we were talking about this last night. It's like you could enter those things in there and it wouldn't feel so off-putting as it would in the Nolan movies.
Here's something here.
He's wings.
DCN says Batman versus Superman should have been straight the Dark Knight Returns storyline. That's what I know he's referring to.
Well, we already got it in animated form. No sense in lifting it again.
Well, and live action would be so much better.
I want to give a big shout out to Ashley Lynn Gaia Storm, who says, Scotty, hi, I miss you. You don't have to miss me when I am right here, Mrs.
Wow, she's cute. She's cute.
I mean, I disagree, because if you want to start your
she's
Batman,
wicked smart.
Yeah, the idea of Superman being a sort of government stooge, it would have been really cool. And then maybe from there go back 10 years, make that film. And then sort of build up to it.
He says everything fell apart with the Martha line.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
I don't. I know people. I don't feel like it's that bad.
Do you guys remember Robot
I don't
Chicken?
think that. I think people made that more than what it was.
You
How
guys
do you
remember? You guys remember Robot Chicken, though, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
When it was supposed to be the people from Sparta, from Spartan or whatever, and he's introducing his girlfriend to his parents. He goes, "This is Martha." And it was just one of the funniest Robot Chicken gags ever.
That is pretty funny.
But back to somebody's comment we had up for a long time but didn't actually read. Bumpmaster1 says,
All you had to do was read it,
movie
lady.
is all I want.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh,
Well,
I want
and
that
with-
movie so bad. I want that movie so bad.
Well, and with Michael Keaton as
Yes,
as
that's
Bruce,
that's what VCM follows up. Says, yes, make Beyond. I say with Keaton back as Bruce, but who is Terry?
Timothy
Well, if it was
Chalamet.
10 years ago, I would say Dylan O'Brien, but now he's like in his 30s, so he's too old.
Timothy Chalamet.
No.
We need a little skinny kid. We need a little skinny kid. Who is the little skinny kid of now?
You know what? How about one of the Cobra Kai kids? One of the Cobra
Sure.
Kai kids.
Daniel's Hot
You're the
Topics
expert.
agrees that Michael
Okay.
Keaton should play Bruce Wayne if they make a Batman Beyond movie.
Okay.
Yeah, totes.
I have to ask, why specifically Michael Keaton?
Because he's
Yeah.
we can't get Val Kilmer. He can't.
No.
Yeah, he can't talk
But
anymore.
every time somebody brings up Batman Beyond, it's always Michael Keaton. Why him?
Well, what do you want, Clooney?
Well, Bale's too young, and he wouldn't do it anyway.
Yeah.
Um,
And
Affleck's done with it.
And he's too young.
I think
He
Michael
wouldn't-
Keaton apparently there was like a Bat person movie that came out that Michael Keaton was basically that character in that
you mean
movie.
Birdman?
Right.
What was it called?
Clint Eastwood.
Ooh, he's too old. He's like 5 years
95,
ago,
dude.
10 years ago, for sure.
No,
but
I'd
he's
say
too old now.
30 years ago, dude. Like 30 years.
No. If he was Batman 10 years ago, if he had played it in a Batman Beyond, I would have been okay with it. But like, if you've seen him,
Oh.
he's releasing his last movie, and he's like 93.
I think-
And
Well, no,
look
I
at
think.
him.
Wait.
He
I
looks
think,
like Donovan who just drank from the wrong grail.
I think the reason that people say Michael Keaton is because they want somebody they've actually already seen as Batman. Because you don't want to watch the movie and think, wow, this guy
Yeah.
would have been really great if we saw him in a Batman movie. So let's pick somebody who we've already seen as Batman.
Yeah.
And I think that's why they say Michael Keaton.
And then if they
I
don't,
just-
what changes then?
Scotty,
Well,
that was
I'm gonna go watch
perfect, man. To eternal life. Oh, that's such a good poll.
I've just
What
thought
was
the
that?
really
And if you don't get Michael Keaton, does that mean nobody's gonna go watch it?
Oh no!
Well, no,
but
I'm
who
just
would you
saying
get?
that's why they want Michael Keaton. They want somebody who's been Batman.
They want it from a franchise that they overhype more than it actually is.
Yeah, but if you wanted, who
Yeah,
would you,
that's a
if
good
you
point.
were going to cast old Batman, like as an original, like this is the first time they've ever been Batman, who or Bruce specifically, because we're not going to see Bruce in the fucking cowl, and so who would you cast as?
Oh,
an
I know
old man?
Kevin Conroy. Oh,
He's dead.
VCN
gonna
says
say-
I would have said Sean Connery would have been great old Batman, but too late.
No.
What I was going to say is a bit.
Sorry,
ironic.
Alfred.
pull up the back symbol.
Well, what I was going to say is quite ironic because I was going to suggest Tommy Lee Jones.
Oh,
Who's also
ah.
like 93.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, he's less like 93 than Clint.
I don't know,
there,
man.
There,
I don't
there
know.
goes Daniel's Hot Topics coming up with all sorts of suggestions for Terry McGinnis.
William Zabka.
Says
Tom
Tom
Holland.
Holland is Terry McGinnis. No,
Dude,
we
I
can't-
would love to
Blessed.
see Billy Zabka as an older fucking Bruce Wayne, dude. He would be.
and
such
William
a-
Zabka is Terry McGinnis.
Daniel's Hot Topics. I love you. I love you. I love you. Yes, yes, yes.
I mean, I can throw a few names. If-
Judge Finity says it'd be Batman and the Elgin Marbles.
Oh yeah,
All right, let's list your names,
I'm up
Ernesto.
for that.
Well, the two that come to my mind is Kurt Russell for one,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Ed Harris as the next name.
Oh, fucking Ed Harris is a good call.
Ed Harris when he did The Abyss. Yeah, I mean, top shape and stuff like that. But Kurt Russell, every day of the week. Yes.
Yeah.
Such
Yeah.
a good.
Dead Man says Adam West is a serious Batman 20 years ago.
What?
I don't
20
know.
years ago was
I get that serious
2004.
like as actual Batman, or as like Bruce Wayne in a Batman Beyond movie, Dead Man?
Yeah, I don't know.
I wish he could, but I don't think that I would be able to suspend my disbelief enough for Adam West to reprise the role, even when he was older. Because he was pissed about Batman '89. He wanted to be Batman in Batman '89, and so
Really?
He really did. And
I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
but then again,
Wasn't
Jack Nicholson also wanted to be the Joker in The Dark Knight as well.
wasn't Bill Murray
Oh, yeah.
Murray considered to be Batman when they thought it might be like a continuation of the TV show, or is kind of goofy or whatever?
well,
I would love to see at least
Here's
just like
something
one
interesting.
movie.
the thing with the Adam West. Sorry, Kat. I just want to address the Bill Murray thing. The thing with the Tim Burton one was, and this is something that I've sort of gleaned through interviews with Michael Keaton, is that one of the aspects that Tim Burton wanted to impart upon Batman is that why would a guy dress up like a bat? And it's because he is, in his day-to-day life, he's not intimidating. He is a rich everyman, but like no one thinks that he could ever do anything to hurt you or have a cause or anything like that. And so it is interesting that they were considering Bill Murray, and they ultimately went with another comedian in Michael Keaton, or at least perceived that way as a comedian at the time. And so I thought it was an interesting casting and an interesting selection process. And who knows what would have happened if Bill Murray was.
I think it all worked out as it should.
The Dead Man clarifies he meant Adam West as old Bruce Wayne in Batman Beyond.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, Adam West is.
No, like he said 20 years ago in the previous comment. So 20 years.
Well, and
apparently Kevin Conroy was an older Batman in the Arrowverse. We just didn't get to see a lot of him.
He was.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
I saw
he was in the Flash when they did that.
He was basically the Kingdom Come. He played like the Kingdom Come.
Yeah, when they did
Batman.
that. What was it called, Tony?
It was Crisis on
Infinite Earth. Yeah. When they did that and they go to Bruce Wayne's house, it's Kevin Conroy in the house, and he's got like
he's got the armor on,
mechanic legs and stuff like that. Yeah,
that also had Brandon Routh back as Superman, which was pretty cool.
Well, he was Kingdom Come Superman in that adaptation.
Yeah.
And it finally got Brandon Routh to don the suit again, just to give a send off. Okay, this is the last time I'm going to be Superman.
I liked him as Superman. I didn't like him as Clark, but I liked him as Superman quite a bit.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm a part of the apologists club. Is that I would say after Gene Hackman, my favorite Lex Luthor is Clancy Brown, and then after Clancy Brown is Kevin Spacey. I think Kevin Spacey was a great fucking Lex Luthor.
Yeah, he didn't play it the same way that Gene Hackman did, which is Gene Hackman was more goofy, where that's not who he really is. So I liked it. I
think Spacey would have been a better Brainiac, actually. He's cold, clinical,
in your bed.
So when you don't here's something. One of the things we were spitballing before we came on earlier this afternoon is what 70s actors would be cast to play Batman characters in a Batman movie.
Well, let's just go right back to the beginning here. Speaking of 1970s,
can we start
with Eastwood? Clint Eastwood is Batman.
Can we start with directors first? Who would you have direct it? I know
Tony Scott. Tony Scott.
No, from the 1970s.
Oh, I'm
John Cassavetes.
I'm saying William Friedkin.
Oh, that's the bad one.
Or Milos Forman. That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting.
Sam Peckinpah.
You know what? I hand back my Cassavetes and I give you a Peckinpah.
Cassavetes would be cool though too. It'd just be a weird movie.
It'd just be a weird.
Yeah. Well, weirdly,
Infinity gives already a first actor suggestion. He says Robin for sure.
Oh yeah, with those hairy legs. Those thick.
I'm imagining Robin with a mustache, and I love
legs. Yeah. Well, he was one of my choices for Bruce Wayne, weirdly, and also So was John Cassavetes, but he's not my final choice.
Well, the
for
funny
Bruce
thing,
Wayne.
Tony, is that Tom Selleck, even though he turned down Indiana Jones, they were like, "Hey, you want to be Bruce Wayne?" He's like, "Nope." And it's
Nope.
like, "Wow, you're turning down all the roles that are going to make you millions of dollars." But that's okay.
Well,
He didn't turn down
He didn't
Indiana
turn down
He
Jones.
Indiana Jones.
Yeah,
I thought he
had
did.
to.
Oh no, he didn't turn it down. He had
Magnum,
scheduling.
because he
Magnum,
was
Scheduling.
Magnum. Yeah.
Yeah. My bad.
VCN
And it all,
suggests.
and again, it all worked out as it should.
Well, and who was I was trying to think of who would be. All right, Kat, you go.
So VCN jokingly suggests he should have gotten George Lucas in the 70s to direct a Batman movie.
You know what? I would be game for that for sure.
That's not a bad call, actually.
I think-
1975, right after American Graffiti, I'd go for that.
Well, I remember when people were talking about Zemeckis possibly directing a Flash movie. I'm like, fuck yes. Like, that would be so interesting. Instead, they got, director for hire it guy, and we got what we got in that movie. But imagine if Zemeckis took on something like the Flash. He would completely take over the production, because that's what Zemeckis does. He doesn't allow studio interference ever in his movies.
Yeah,
So that's something really, really spectacular. But
yeah, it shows he doesn't allow studio interference. Half of his library is unwatchable.
Well, whatever. I don't know.
Or the Polar Express.
Brian De Palma, I think, would have been a clear choice
Oh,
for
yeah. Brian De Palma would have been
1970s
awesome.
Batman.
Brian De Palma would have been, yeah. I'd go with that. I'd go with Brian De Palma.
When's the last time he made a good movie?
Snake Eyes?
Was that good, though?
Hey, he started the Mission Impossible franchise, though.
And he has that
cred.
He has that kind of comic book, because he does
Mission Impossible nearly
going
30
on.
years ago.
Yeah.
The Dead Man suggests Clint Eastwood as director and actor.
I mean, that is the obvious choice.
It is.
It is the obvious choice.
In the 1970s, he would still been pushing it a bit, even in the 1970s, though, right? But he was in good shape.
Yeah, I think
Daniel's Hot Topic says Salty Trigger would make a great penguin.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
what am I thinking of? I would mostly see him as a Superman type, but Robert Redford would make for a good Batman.
Yeah.
He's got the high, he's got that chiseled face, he's got the boyish good looks for the time. Just color his hair dark brown or black, and you're golden.
Yeah.
Yeah. My choice is Robert Urich. Robert Urich as Bruce Wayne and Batman.
James Caan would have made a great Commissioner.
James Caan. Well, I was actually thinking James Caan for Batman at one point, but
I could see him as Gordon. I can see him as Gordon. Gene Wilder would have been an obvious choice for the Riddler back then.
Yeah.
Well,
say I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong.
Who else has ideas for Batman?
No, I was about to. I mean, no, he would. I don't think he would have. Well, I mean, with
Steve McQueen.
Yeah, I
I
think
was
most.
gonna say John Travolta, but I don't know if he could pull off the Michael Keaton switcheroo.
He would have been a bit young there. I mean, it depends when in the 70s it was, but yeah.
Exactly.
And it's like, I don't think Pacino would have been right for it. I don't think De
Oh, hell
Niro
no.
would have been right for it.
No.
It's a very, yeah. Okay. Next up, Joker. Who do you think would have been the perfect Joker?
Here's what VCN said: left field, Nicholson is 70s Batman.
Yeah, I could go for that.
Tony, I think we already got the perfect Joker with Heath Ledger, but if we were to talk about something else, I would say
in the 70s. In the 70s.
In the 70s. Oh my God, maybe like Peter Fonda.
Well, I'm going with Donald Sutherland.
I was
yes, Tony. That's perfect cast. He looks like him. He's got that goofy look, oh my God, and he's such a great actor. Yes, Tony. Yes.
So what were you going to say, Kat?
I was thinking that just a minute. I was browsing through my 70s catalog to see who I would pick.
That is
Yeah.
perfect. I mean, I thought, Peter Fonda could work, but he wouldn't put the gravitas that Donald Sutherland would put into it. He would just go. Donald Sutherland goes all in on everything he does. That was what's so great about him. God rest in peace.
Oh yeah.
I think Robert De Niro could have pulled that audition for a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
At least as a growing name around that time.
He would have been like, you know what? I got a joke for you. That's a good joke.
Well, I mean,
that's pretty much it.
Taxi Driver is basically Batman, right?
Yeah.
Travis Bickle is basically Batman, who goes to porno theaters.
Yeah, and that also inspired Joker. So
yeah.
You got your kings of comedy right there. Dustin Hoffman would have been another choice.
Yeah, that would have been good. Yeah.
He
would have been another guy that went completely all in on it. And
see, I would have gone Dustin Hoffman for Mad Hatter.
I
don't like Mad Hatter. I don't like Mad Hatter. I don't want that to be a character.
I'd go Vincent Price as Ra's al Ghul.
Well, I was going Christopher Lee as Ra's al Ghul.
That's true too.
No, Vincent Price. Just the way he would talk to Bruce, like
hello, Bruce.
Dead Man says Peter Sellers for the Riddler.
Yep.
Oh, that's fantastic. I would have never even thought of that, but that's fantastic.
That's a good one. I'm thinking Albert Finney as Penguin.
Yes, was the Joker.
I've actually said that a million times that Albert Finney would have been a great Penguin. He's basically Penguin when he's Hercule Poirot. Yeah, he's basically him.
Albert Finney can play the shark in Jaws.
Sigourney Weaver would have made a good Selena Kyle.
Yeah.
Oh,
you know what, Tony? You know who would have been a great Penguin is he was a little too known, so it might have been weird. But like George C. Scott might have been able to pull it off because he kind of has that. He kind of has the face already.
I thought you were going full on Californians then.
No, George C. Scott just has that look.
See, I said Robert Wagner as Harvey Dent, but what about George C. Scott as Harvey Dent?
Yeah.
I think I see him more as the Penguin. I see him more.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
What about Charlton Heston as Harvey Dent?
Yes.
He could bring.
That's interesting.
I mean, Clint Eastwood nearly played Harvey Dent in '66.
Who?
Hey, I know. You know who would be the greatest Harvey Dent is the guy that played Lando Calrissian in Star Wars. That never got to play him in any of the sequels.
VCN suggests Willem Dafoe as the Joker for 70s.
So is everyone ever.
Everyone's always thrown his name to be the Joker.
I think he was so much better suited as.
Like I would still say Nicholson in the 70s.
I think he was still only doing theatre then when he was really young. I don't think he was doing a lot of film.
See, and Virtual Cantina Network, I am totally with you on this. Nope. 70s Penguin should have still been Burgess Meredith. I'm still in.
Yeah.
I'm still in.
I guess you could still pull that off. Yeah.
Well, I was thinking Paul Williams. Of course, Paul Williams went on to play Penguin in animated series.
What about John Cazale as the Riddler?
I was gonna say John Cazale, but I was gonna say John Cazale as the Joker.
I already threw in Gene Wilder there for the Riddler.
Oh, Gene Wilder's a great choice.
Oh my God,
he'd be a good Mad Hatter as well.
As far as Joker, I would kind of second Catherine saying Donald Sutherland, only because I looked up a picture of him from the London Film Archive, and he's got that Cesar Romero look to him. I'm just like, I can see it.
He looks like the Neil Adams Joker.
Yeah. And for Harvey Dent, considering he was just starting to break out into leading films, I would pluck an up-and-coming Raul Julia to be Harvey Dent.
Ooh. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so when was Overdrawn at the Memory Bank? 1980?
I don't know. The VCN suggests Pam Grier for Selena Kyle.
I think
Ooh,
Raul
yeah.
Julia would have been a better like Ra's al Ghul or something. Like I don't know about two.
Oh, that's a fucking brilliant choice, sir.
Well, if we're keeping it in the 70s, Raul Julia doesn't have that
No, I
much
know. I'm talking
accolades to
about
play
the
a seasoned veteran character like that.
we're talking about the same person, sir. I'm just saying, like that's who
What
I would
about-
go with.
What about Sissy Spacek as Barbara Gordon?
What about no, fuck you. I want Carrie Fisher. Where do we put Carrie Fisher in our 1970s Batman?
Marlon Brando for Rupert Thorne.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You know who would be a great Poison Ivy in the 70s is
And Margaret.
Kathy Moriarty.
I don't like Kathy Moriarty.
I know you don't, but she looks the part, and I know you don't.
Get
We
mad.
talked about
I'm not mad.
Oh, I'm not mad. You're mad.
No,
I'm not
I'm
mad.
Yeah, yeah, I can see that. I can see that. I can see that. Or,
Marlon Brando.
or
The Dead Man, I want to say thank you for bringing up a character that I didn't think
Oh.
I was going to have to think about.
what about Jessica Lange?
Oh, shit. Yo,
She
Jessica
would
Lange.
be like
she's my Vicky Vale.
fucking
She,
Faith
Vicky Vale.
Meridian or fucking Vicky Vale or something. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, she'd have to be like the love
Oh,
interest or something.
Michael
See?
Lonsdale is the Calendar Man.
this
Actually,
is good.
actually, Jessica Lange, Tony, Catwoman, she could totally pull that off.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
I was gonna say Michael Lonsdale is the Calendar Man.
Yeah.
Oh my God, the Calendar Man.
Because
Yeah.
of the Calendar Man's demeanor. It's quite
Yeah.
weird.
Calendar Man. They
Good
they,
track.
they repurposed that character. I want to say in either the Flash or Arrow or something. Because they're pulling from all that shit because they just don't have the balls to make an actual Batman TV show. So
Oh, tell me about it.
Well, and thank heavens for that, because I'm such a big fan of watching things in theaters. I like the cinematic experience. And so I think one of the problems that are happening today when it comes to our most precious IPs is that they are becoming consumable and bingeable on your television, as opposed I sound like David Lynch, and it's like you want to watch Batman on your fucking phone.
You mean
well,
like,
you're not reading the news though, Scotty. Today is gonna be sunny skies.
It's sunny in LA.
something that's been going for 85 years?
Yes.
You condense it into a 2. What makes more sense? You have it as a TV series, with like 3 seasons, 200 hours,
I know.
or
Okay,
you condense it all into a 2-hour movie.
who would we pick for Commissioner Gordon in the 70s?
Oh,
I already said
Borg
it.
Nine.
That's where you get Clint Eastwood involved.
Ernest
me.
Borgnine.
That's where Clint Eastwood comes into play for me.
I already threw in James Caan.
Oh, what about
Who's
Robert,
Alfred?
Yeah.
I was thinking Gielgud should be.
what about
Alfred.
Robert Duvall?
Yeah, you could
Or
play
Peter
Robert
O'Toole.
Duvall, Robert Duvall is who?
Gordon.
Gordon.
Either
Gordon
that or
Duvall would be a
Alfred.
good
What about
choice.
Robert
That would be a good
Duvall?
choice.
What about Robert Duvall as Alfred?
Yeah,
No,
as Alfred.
Too young. Too young.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah. Michael Caine. Well, Michael Caine.
What about
No.
Gene Hackman as Gordon? If he's like still a lieutenant.
Yeah. That's a good one. That's a good
Oh,
one.
what about fucking Paul Newman?
Yeah, Paul
That's
Newman.
a good one.
Paul Newman.
And
Paul
because
Paul Newman could be Batman.
Yeah, Paul Newman could be Batman, not Gordon. Yeah.
Yeah.
and because she was already in Taxi, you could put Jodie Foster as Barbara Gordon, teenager.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense. Sure.
I think Clint Eastwood would be a good Gordon back in the 70s.
Yes.
That's
Well, but also it would be kind of like playing into type because he was just
He
all
could just
the
basically
Dirty Harry
be
shit.
the outlaw Josie
Yeah, but
Wales.
would he play?
Or Clint Eastwood.
would he play?
No.
Would he play?
Oh yeah, Jesus.
You know who Vincent Price can play? Alfred.
Oh,
Yes,
Vincent
yes.
Price would be a brilliant Alfred. Absolutely,
Brilliant. He'd
good
be
choice.
dude. You wouldn't even need to show his face. Just hear his voice as Batman is doing his thing.
It's
Like,
Matt
or what about
Wayne.
yeah. Oh my
what
god.
about James Mason? Because he's still alive in the
Ooh,
70s.
yeah, he is still alive then. Yeah.
How about you go
Uh,
How about you go
Bogart.
way? How about you go way different for Jim Gordon and you go James Earl Jones as Gordon.
Oh yeah,
Like
yeah.
in the
No.
70s, that would make sense, you know.
Or
Oh, he
Robert
would be
Ryan?
a bit young though. There, it would be the Great White Hope.
You know what? I already
age
blew
there.
my wad on my Clint Eastwood one, so now I'm just making up bullshit. Like
No,
I
we're all just making up bullshit. You're cool.
Robert Ryan for Gordon?
Robert Ryan for Gordon is not a bad choice. Robert Ryan, obviously, being the guy from the Towering Inferno.
Yeah.
He's also the lead in the Wild Bunch.
That's also him. Yeah.
Where do you think? Speaking of the Towering Inferno, where do you think Steve McQueen would fit into Batman at all, if anything? Would Steve McQueen be a good Batman? No, probably not.
No,
Maybe
he doesn't have the jawline. I hate to say
maybe a
Steve McQueen doesn't have
Riddler,
the
maybe a
jawline.
Riddler,
Maybe
Riddler.
Two-Face. Maybe he'd be good
Oh,
too.
maybe
you know?
Oh, he
Two-Face.
would. Yeah, no, he'd be a great Harvey Dent.
Yeah,
I like
yeah.
Virtual Cantina Network bringing up James Garner in any capacity. I
Yeah.
don't care what we like. James Garner would be a great
James.
Two-Face. He would be a great Batman.
He'd be a great Gordon as well.
He would be a good Gordon.
I could see Jack
Pleasant.
Palance as Gordon.
Oh, that's not a bad call either.
Oh no, I know.
I don't see that at all.
I
but-
know who plays Alfred. I know who plays Alfred.
Robert Mitchum.
Donald Pleasance.
Oh shit!
Well, he would just be playing fucking Loomis, pretty
Yeah.
much. Yeah, but that's fine. Yeah.
Or
Or
you can put Sean Connery as Alfred.
exactly.
No, Sean Connery.
Because, I mean, Alfred
Alfred
used to work on Her Majesty's Secret Service, so I wouldn't see why not.
Batman, you're the man now, dog. That'd be
You're
great.
the Batman now, dog.
He'd be a great Alfred.
Yeah, I think
Perfect right there.
yeah. Like a Batman. Yeah,
I'm
like
trying
a
to think
Batman.
if there'd be. I'm still stumped on that good question of who would Steve McQueen be in a Batman universe back then. That's a hard one.
I think Riddler, or like a lot of people said, Two-Face.
What about Black Mask?
What about it? Yeah, Black Mask is good. I was going to say what like Falcone.
Yeah, but that's
Black
only
Mask doesn't have like a.
That's a
personality.
recent character.
Well,
It's
I mean, we're you know,
not
whatever we want him to be.
Yeah,
I know, Kat.
this is never going to happen
Like,
unless we get really good at AI.
Paul Williams could be a good Mad Hatter, maybe.
Yeah, Paul Williams. Yeah, I can see that.
Why do you guys are hot for Paul Williams.
We're not. We're
Obsessed
just
with the
browsing.
Mad Hatter.
It's the second time Paul Williams has come up, and the only reason I know him is from the Muppet Show.
He plays a good orangutan.
You know, I saw this great Twitter post the other day that one of my favorite movies of all time for me is One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Yes.
And I love when people combine these things and they're like, you have the Joker, the Penguin, and Chucky all on screen together at the same time. And it's because you had Brad Dourif, Danny DeVito, and Jack Nicholson. Just another reason to love One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, which is my favorite movie of the 70s, by the way.
Well,
So Christopher Lloyd.
1970s, the person who should play Scarecrow is Vincent Schiavelli.
Yes, definitely. Without a
Well,
doubt.
dude, imagine if you'd really gotten like Brad
Ooh.
Dourif in that moment in time that Brad Dourif was
Yeah.
the guy like to play the Scarecrow.
The dead man suggests Lee Van Cleef as Ra's al Ghul.
I second that
That's
emotion.
No, Lee Van Cleef as Commissioner Gordon.
Oh, that's I get where
I
you're
don't- I don't-
I can
I don't
picture
see
Lee Van
that at
Cleef doing
all.
Commissioner Loeb, the corrupt Commissioner Loeb. He'd be good at that.
Yeah,
I would-
okay.
I
don't
would-
see the
I
What
would
do you
cast
say,
Steve
Snake?
McQueen as Firefly,
Ooh.
Well,
Ooh, I
anybody
like that.
can play
as
Firefly.
an arsonist.
Yeah.
Well, didn't they get? Wasn't Brendan Fraser Firefly in that movie that they threw
In
away?
the Batgirl movie, yeah.
They put it in the
But
dumpster.
Firefly was created in the 50s, so I can see him in a Batman of the 70s.
Yeah.
They said he was one of the only good things about that movie was Brendan Fraser as Firefly. So, yeah, that would have been something to see.
Ted Cassidy as Solomon Grundy.
Oh, yeah, that's not a bad call. Tad Cassidy famously lurched
He
from the
literally-
Animal Family, also Rook.
Dude, how about
What are little girls made of?
Sylvester Stallone as Clayface in the 70s?
Oh, that's kind of
What about
That actually really could have worked if you really
What
stop
about
and think about it.
Alan Arkin for the Joker?
Nah.
Man.
Alan Arkin for the
Seen him play
Riddler.
a creep before. He's
Alan
Alan-
Arkin for the Riddler.
Alan
No.
Arkin for the Riddler.
Yeah.
the Riddler. All right.
Yeah, the Jokers. I don't know, man. Like I was trying to figure out where Dustin Hoffman fit.
Oh, Penguin.
Pretty sure I-
Penguin, he wouldn't be a bad Penguin, but we've already
He'd be
established
good-
that
he'd
if
be a
Burgess
good
Meredith
Penguin.
is alive, he has to be the Penguin.
Actually, put Dustin. No, not Dustin. Put Robert Redford as Penguin.
Yeah.
No,
Wait a
no, fucking no. Sorry, misspoke. Robert
Wait a
Duvall as
My-
Penguin.
You know, my Sylvester
No,
Stallone.
Telly
face
Savalas is
got
the
buried
Penguin.
in here.
Oh,
Like,
that's not bad.
What?
Telly Savalas as the Penguin.
oh yeah.
Mr. Freeze.
He'd be
Who
great.
is it,
Savalas
baby?
Or Mr. Freeze.
Oh,
Or
or Mr.
Egghead.
No, Telly Savalas is Mr. Freeze. Please,
Every
please.
actor that ever worked with Telly Savalas says he stunk so bad on set. Like
A
from
booze?
and cigars and BO.
Yeah,
Everybody
that's
said
why
he was
he's my
so
kind
gross.
of guy.
So no, to me, he's a penguin. He's a penguin for sure because of that.
Yeah.
Like
He looks more like a kingpin than anything
he
else.
does. He does look like
Oh,
Kingpin, but like just
yeah.
yeah. He does. Well, he
Well,
did.
and dude, check out
Oh,
the Dirty Dozen. He
Well, I mean-
plays such a brilliant psychopath.
well, because Bruce Timm based his Lex Luthor on Telly Savalas, right?
Oh, right. That makes sense. It does.
You mean the
visually correct.
artist? The artist did.
Yeah,
Mhm.
he based his look on Telly Savalas.
Do you
It's
guys
the
ever
lips.
feel? Do you guys ever feel like, as good as Gene Hackman was, that he kind of skimped out and was kind of a pussy for not wanting to do the ball head thing, except for like that reveal at the end or whatever? You're like,
Well, I mean,
No, I
Because
liked it.
he didn't want to. He didn't want to play the part bald, and it's like, dude, just fucking play the part. You know.
Yeah.
Wait, what were you talking again?
Was Gene
Gene
Hackman a pussy for
Gene
not shaving his
Hackman
head?
was kind of like, it's like he's kind of a bitch, like for not wanting to be bald in that movie. And it's like, yeah, of course they pull the wig off at the end and you see him bald, and you see him bald for like 2 seconds in the
bald
second
cap,
one.
yeah.
Like, why did he not want to play that part bald? I never understood it. He just didn't want to do it. That's what he said. I don't want to be bald in this movie. It's like, but that's the guy. That's the
Yeah.
character.
But I liked it. I didn't.
I
mind
loved
it.
him as Lex Luthor. I'm just saying, the hair aside, you know.
Well, it's part of the reason why I actually like Superman 2 is because you get more bald.
you
Lex
get more
Luthor.
bald. You get more.
You
bald
do, you
in
do,
his
yeah.
smoking jacket.
Oh shit!
George Kennedy and Solomon Grundy.
Alan Alda as the Joker.
Too young back then. Too young.
No, in the 70s.
No,
Come
you'd
on,
be
he had
about the
gray hair
same.
in the 70s.
Alan
Yeah.
Alda in the 70s. Well, no, okay, you're right. Oh, dude, you know what? Well, no, Tony already said it. He already said Donald Sutherland. So yeah, we can't use it because now I'm thinking of MASH characters.
Well,
Oh my God! Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, here's
David
the question.
Ogden Stiers as.
no, I'm thinking of like I'm thinking of
The Hawkeyes. They both play
MASH.
Hawkeye.
Yeah.
Harry Morgan as Alfred.
Well, here's a question. If you are going to be casting a Joker and you want to stand, out from the crowd, who would you cast to play someone who transforms into Joker from the Red Hood?
Taylor Swift.
Transforms from Joker to the Red Hood. Well,
No, transforms to the Joker from the Red Hood. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know because
From the Red Hood
as far, if I was doing that, I wouldn't show his face at all as the Red Hood. I would just have
Well,
him.
you already know who's going to be Joker under the makeup, but who would you as a voice, because you don't see the Red Hood's face ever?
Oh yeah.
Harvey Keitel.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. Keitel would have been a great anything.
I
Batman.
just
he have
saw
been a good
Mean
Batman?
Streets recently for the first time, and Keitel is fucking gold.
The thing is, now Keitel, would he have made a good Batman, but not good?
No.
He's too
Bruce
short.
Wayne.
He's too short.
No, he would have never made a good Batman.
Now he would have been a great Wolverine, though, right?
No, yeah,
Yes.
but he would have. Yeah, he could have probably done Wolverine, but like he doesn't have the swagger of a Bruce Wayne. Like that's not who. Like, and the Wolverine talk and stuff like that. It's like, okay, he's got the stocky stature and all that stuff, but no, he would have never been a good Wolverine because he would never committed to all that stuff.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. No, he would never. Yeah. You're right. You're absolutely right.
The Wolverine, the guy that ends up playing Wolverine for the past 24 years was the perfect fit. Yes, he was 6'2", but he's the best Wolverine you could possibly ever ask for.
No, I don't think so. I still
All
don't
right.
think so. I think it was a decision they made because they wanted him to be the star.
They
think
did.
I think if Wolverine should have been a side character in those movies. Certainly the first
I agree. I definitely agree with that. I'm just saying, based on the movies we got.
Exactly.
It's fucking Batman Day. We're not talking about Wolverine.
Yeah.
We're talking about Bruce Wayne. We're talking about Batman. You know what I want? Here's what I want.
We're talking comics, dude.
Yeah.
I want a Wayne Enterprises reference in the new Superman movie. Is what I want.
Taron Egerton.
The actor that I want
Milo
to play
Gibson.
Batman the most, and I'm pretty sure I'm so transparent that everyone knows this. Who do I want to play Batman?
John
Everybody?
John Hamm.
John Hamm.
That is correct, sir.
And that wouldn't have been bad. Like
Hamm Batman
15 years
movie.
ago, that would have been fucking perfect, dude.
Yes. He is too old now, but it would have been, it would have been.
You know who I want to?
If you want your Batman Beyond, go with John Hamm.
You know who I want to see in the next Batman movie? The very next Batman movie we see, the person I want to see in it is Robert Pattinson.
Yeah,
that's the movie I want to see is the Batman 2. You know,
yeah.
I hope he gets a haircut.
Yeah, he did kind of emo it out.
The haircut was the only thing I didn't like about that movie.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Robert Pattinson Batman, those of us who have seen The Penguin.
Yeah. How is it?
What did?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We have.
I loved it. I loved it.
Yeah. It's great.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. How is it?
It's like
I watched it last night. Yeah.
The Batman universe.
So can someone give me like a star rating or something? Like, is it good? Is it bad? Is it boring? Is it stupid?
Well, I'll give you a gulp score because we go to 10. I would give it an 8.5 out of 10.
Wow, that's high praise.
No, it's really well written. It's really well paced. It's one episode, so we don't know where the show's going. It could turn out to be a complete pile of shit. But the one episode, so much happens, and like it feels like a real gangster story.
Yeah, you know? And there's so much pathos as well.
Yeah.
Really feel for it.
And who's the Falcone girl? Melody?
Yeah, the Hangman.
God, she was from she hasn't been on screen.
That was the mother from How I Met Your Mother.
No.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Yeah.
That wasn't the mother.
Something. But...
It wasn't the mother. Well, she was the one who died.
Scotty. I can sell you right now on the show. You know who plays Sal Maroni? Fucking the Kurgan. Fucking Clancy Brown plays. Clancy Brown plays.
Clancy Brown brings me to the yard.
There you go. That's all you need.
8 out of 10 for the Penguin. The Dead Man says.
Yeah,
it's great.
I agree with that. I like how you're right. There is a lot of pathos for the character. He does some pretty baller moves in this first episode to get
he does, man.
Oh my god!
But they also have him like Cat. They also have him very vulnerable, like when he's like naked and hairy. You're like, what the fuck is going on?
Well, like the first scene, especially, or not the first scene, but the pre-title scene, as I guess you call it, sequence. I was like, oh, that's the way they're going with this, and it was combination surprise and disappointment at what they do.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, that's the direction. I thought it was neat. Like this one incident is going to be the catalyst for this whole series, which I'm assuming is going to be Oz usurping, if not outright wiping out the Falcones and Maronis to become the new crime boss in Gotham City.
Well, it is in line with
they do better, but they do better than that though. They don't write it that way. They make it to where he knows he's not the smartest guy in the room. So he's trying to pit these like families against each other and just get out of the way and like hope that like, you know, he can kind of survive all this stuff. And I love how he's got his little sidekick and like, oh my God, this one episode, like 90 minutes, or it was like 60 or 70 minutes.
65 minutes.
Yeah, it was just so entertaining and like it gives you more of him than you get in the entire movie
Yeah.
of the Batman.
Well, in the movie, you
Hey,
kind of
Trip.
get
Good to see you, DVD.
glimpses. You get glimpses of his humanity, but for the most part, you just think he's a douchebag, right? And I think, and they really kind of given him, and of course, seeing his mother and all that stuff. It was, and oh my, yeah, and yeah, that was great. Loved
What were
it.
you gonna say, Ernesto?
Fuck it, I know.
Ah.
I was gonna say that the earlier point about him pretty much going after all the crime families to put them on the way out and him on the way in is very in line with the idea that now that Batman is around, the old guard, which is the crime families, are going to be going away, and the freaks are going to take over, being
Yeah.
Oswald is going to take over. And I agree, this episode pretty much sets the whole season because he obviously wanted to, you can see in that first episode, he already has a plan in motion, but he gets a bit tripped up once he meets with the heir apparent. And then I like that it wasn't a calculated move, it was on impulse. And
Yeah,
now
it was on impulse. Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, shit, how am I going to get out of this?
Because he just let him flap his lips, and it was like, oh yeah, and
that's such a gangster move right there. Like,
but but the realization immediately after he did it that
that he's
fucked
done.
up.
Yeah, it shows that he is just not stable. That man is damaged beyond repair. And it's one of those things where it's the one thing you don't do when you're sitting across someone who is your quote unquote your elder, who knows a little bit more than you do, and you laugh in his face after basically becoming vulnerable to you, and you call him a pussy to his face. I'm like, oh no, kid. Oh no.
Well, that guy,
not shoot him, and then bam, there it goes.
The Falcone son was just like some idiot that didn't know shit. He was just,
See,
you could tell he was like a coke addict and a drinker.
That's what I was kind of annoyed by, because this is the second time in a row now, the first time being the Flash. Both being the first times we've seen Alberto Falcone in live action, and they treat him as some disposable douchebag in both movies. And I actually like his character from The Long Halloween.
Well, this show wanted to give it to the Falcone daughter, obviously. The show,
the Hangman. Yeah.
That was something else. Saying that she's already been the Hangman and she got out. I hope they tell that story. But even then, in flashbacks, it's not going to be as entertaining as it would have been if they just told that story, because we don't know who exactly she killed or who they had to pay off to release her from Arkham, because she's clearly still a psychopath.
Yeah.
Oh god, yeah.
Yeah, but
the dead man.
you have to accept this as it's doing its own thing, and Oswald is already coming in as a different character just because his name isn't even Cobblepot, it's just Cobb.
Well, Oswald Cobb. Yeah, but we don't know that. We don't know if they changed their name. I'm guessing he probably has a longer Italian name, probably.
I was talking with Ken about this, that if there is an in-universe explanation where he just shortened his name to avoid a connection to a family name.
Yeah.
But based on the next scene that we get later on when he goes home for a bit, I'm like, okay, this looks a little bit, middle class, so not upper class. So I'm curious where it's going to go.
Well, they mentioned that in the, I don't know if you guys saw, but they had plenty of extras, little featurettes that they put out. And they mentioned that one of the reasons of the name change, because one credit listed, like on IMDb or something, listed his mother as being Cobblepot and him as being Cobb, but I'm not sure if that's still true. But the point was brought up that Cobblepot is like an aristocratic English name.
Yeah.
And they've changed the character in this iteration to be like a working class.
Exactly, he really isn't.
From God, and that wouldn't be the type of name you would have. But he also, you could tell, also wants to distance himself from his mom because he prefers people call him Oz instead of Oswald. So maybe he did shorten it from Cobblepot at some point.
Okay, but I'm just saying, if you want to have a Cobblepot, shortening your name so that people don't know you're a Cobblepot, there has to be a reason for that. You want to separate yourself from your family name. Unless you want to do something completely different from the ground up, that's fine. But it's the same thing with the first time when the Batman was coming out, and we're told that Edward is not even Edward Nigma, he's just Edward Natchton. So I'm just like, is that an alias? and it's Edward Nashton. So okay, we got half a
Yeah,
name.
but so
That's such a
now I'm
nitpick,
invested.
man.
Now I'm
No,
invested.
no. This is not a nitpick. It's like, oh well,
No,
you're
it's
not
not a
Enigma,
nitpick.
you're somebody else.
Funny name. It's a pun. Yeah, but don't forget, as I said before, every adaptation is a new character.
Yeah, but the
New
name.
interpretation, not new character.
Okay, so now his name is Ken Kenobi.
Well, not to deviate from Batman talk, but it's the same issue I had with Zendaya as MJ, and her name is Michelle, not Mary Jane Watson.
Yeah, I'll give you
Oh,
that.
yeah,
one.
that
That makes.
problem with
I'll
that.
give you that one. That makes no sense at all. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I would even if
It's
it's
a
just
different
Cobb,
universe.
at least it's close to it, so I'm okay with it.
Well, it's just a different universe. It's like the Ultimate Universe is a slightly different universe, and people have slightly different backstories. No, I never had a problem with it.
I want to
It's
know.
the Instagram universe.
Well, yeah,
Tony.
but the Ultimate Spider-Man was more of an updating for the time as opposed to rearranging things to be more marketable to a broader audience.
Oh,
Like,
I loved the Ultimate Spider-Man run.
I have a
love
whole
it. I
fucking
love it.
stack of that. I
I
love
want to
it.
know.
But I want him to be a part of Shield, and that's never going to happen now.
Yeah.
I want to know. I want to know how Carmine Falcone got Salvatore Maroni's ring in the first place.
Yeah, well, I think we're going to find
eBay.
that out. I think we're going to find that.
That was a bit.
I didn't see this.
Yeah,
I'm
the-
never
they
going to
basically
see
said
the
that-
Penguin show. I'm
they-
never
they
going to see it
basically
because
said
I
that-
Oh,
want to
come on,
watch.
Scotty! You got
No, I'm never going to watch it. I'm never going to watch
you'll
it because
love
it's a
it, man.
Batman show without Batman.
No, you'll love it,
Batman
dude.
show.
It's the Penguin show.
Scotty.
I
I
don't
want you to
wanna see a
watch it so
Penguin
we can
show.
talk about it on the live stream, dude. Like,
Oh.
it's
The
good.
Dead Man says, "Cat. It's also pretty clear that Maroni has paid off the guards at Blackgate because you're not allowed to pass anything to prisoners when they're visiting. That is true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
But
Gotham,
that's
they
expected when you're
stick by the
going into
rules in
Gotham.
Gotham.
Well, I also think that like Oz like gave up too much information about what he's doing to Maroni in that scene, like unless he was fucking with him, but we don't know yet.
No, he was fucking with him.
I think he was, yeah.
Because you don't
But no, what he was doing was he was pitting him against
you don't
what's
reveal your
rest of
hand
the
unless it's
Falcone
released
family.
before.
Yeah.
Oh, this is interesting. So Mark Strong is taking over as Carmine.
Yeah.
Falcone.
John Turturro doesn't want to be in it. He doesn't wanna-
John Turturro wanted to be in it to scheduling conflict, and that's actually been.
No, he doesn't want to be in it. I'm
Well,
kidding.
it's
I'm
because
kidding.
of it's because of Severance, right? It's-
Yeah, Severance.
You don't fuck with the Jesus, man.
You do not fuck with the Jesus.
But it's like in that scene when he goes to Maroni, he knows that Maroni, he's not offering him the territory. He's pretending to offer him that because he knows he's going to reject it because the ring is going to be what's going to convince him to do that, which was cool. He thought ahead about that. And I love that he got the idea for this plan from watching that Rita Hayworth, the clip from that Rita Hayworth movie that his mom was watching, where she's singing "Blame It on Maine," and the kid asks, "Who's Maine?" He's like, "It doesn't matter. It's just a scapegoat."
Yeah.
That was great.
No, there's a lot of great details in the show. I'm really enjoying the first episode, and I can't wait for this Thursday to see the second one. How many episodes?
No, it won't be till Sunday the 29th.
Yeah.
I'm moving it back to Sunday.
Oh,
So it'll
shit.
be till,
Oh, so they're not doing a Thursday one. Okay.
no,
Okay.
they're going to put it on Sunday the 29th, and then it'll be Sundays from then on out through November 10th.
I'm thinking
never
about
gonna
doing
watch
like
this
maybe
show.
like a live stream for every episode. Well, no.
Steve and I are going to renew Capes, Cowls, and Crusaders for it if Steve ever, wherever he is when he comes back. But
Hey, don't talk ill about Steve. He is our commissioner.
I didn't
Gordon.
say ill. I just said he's not around. But here's something from DVB.
Maybe he's our Batman.
He says, "Funny how it's all become about Batman these days. Everybody forgets about Robin, one of the best superhero sidekicks of all time. Robin deserves more recognition." Just saying.
I don't think people forget about Robin. He's just not as, it's hard to write him into to Batman movies. It's hard to write him.
Robin.
My favorite sort of presentation and storytelling introduction of Robin is Darwin Cook from New Frontier.
Yeah.
And it was something about like Bruce had achieved bringing terror to criminals, but when he was trying to save people, the innocent would fear him, and he was like, "That's not."
Which is exactly what happened in the Batman, wasn't
Yeah.
it? Where the guy that he saved in the subway, don't hurt me.
Yeah. And so I do appreciate, I love that interpretation of Robin. I do not think I will ever see a cinematic interpretation of Robin that pleases me. I think the closest
It's difficult.
Robin that I ever saw was Hit Girl. And that's just because it was age appropriate. I think that Robin should be, 15.
Well, Damian Wayne, because Damian Wayne is well, he's not exactly a clone of, he's his son, but
Well,
he's
it's
been
like-
brought up as an assassin. So
But it's
Tiger
like when
Stripes mentions
it's
that
like,
Joseph Gordon,
hey, Tiger Stripes.
Tiger
Joseph
Stripes-
Gordon-Levitt is a Robin, yo.
no, but she mentions it was a missed opportunity, which is true.
Yeah.
Scotty, can I tell you that the best Robin was
Yes.
Damon Wayans as handyman?
Jesus.
And he was supposed to be Robin in Batman Returns, and they even had
No,
costumes.
Marlon Wayne. Marlon Wayne.
Marlon Wayans, or whoever it was.
Yeah.
One of the
It was
Wayans
Damon
brothers.
Oh no, yeah, there was supposed to be a Wayans Robbins.
Yep.
Yeah. It's nice to see you, Tiger Stripes.
I would also give the Penguin premiere an 8 out of 10. I thought it was pretty good.
Never gonna see it. Never gonna watch it.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
It's good.
But and then this question that came earlier, I'm sure it's just for Tony, because Tony would love this question from the Virtual Cantina Network. Who would win, Batman or Wolverine?
It depends. Probably Wolverine, because Wolverine can just keep going. Batman, well, I don't know. It's hard because in a world where alien technology exists, either really. But yeah,
That's a good point, because Wolverine does have his superpowers where he just
he can keep going. They put him in a pit once and fired a Gatling gun at him.
Yeah.
24
the
hours a
Batarang
day.
is not going to do much against Wolverine.
Oh no,
No.
I'm Team Batman. I think Batman would beat Wolverine.
There's no way he wins because
No,
Wolverine
but he
can't
would-
die.
But Batman, let's remember, gentlemen and ladies, is that we are dealing with Wolverine, Logan, who is an actual, he's a thinking man. He's gonna fucking fight you like no get out until you reason with him. Batman will use his batarangs and ropes, and he'll bind him and calm him down and be like,
Polos. Don't forget the polos.
James, remember who you are. You're here to protect people. and then Logan's gonna be like, how did you know my name? And it's like, your mother's name was Martha.
he'd be like, remember Jean Grey.
yeah,
Or something like
Yeah.
that. They're gonna be friends. They're gonna
And
be
Mi-
friends.
And Michiko and all his other dead girlfriends.
Oh no, Tripp said something about Batman being a super genius, and I thought it said super penis.
DVB says, so now they have Batman 66, 89, Returns, Forever, Begins, Dark Knight, and Rises, the Batman, Joker for La Deux, or whatever. Robin deserves better, yeah.
Well, since this is the Batman free-for-all, can we talk about the Nolan trilogy? Does anybody
Yeah.
have
Sure.
favorite? Because I've already been on the Phantasmagorium show
Oh,
for Batman Begins, and I've said it's my favorite Batman movie of all time, and I still
And it's a
hold
good choice.
Yeah,
DVB
and
thinks Batman would destroy Wolverine for what it's worth.
Yeah, fuck you. You're wrong.
what's that?
Nothing. Keep going. Talk about Batman Begins.
Adamantium's not
No,
technically.
that was it. I
Yeah.
just thought we could all talk about what we
Yes,
thought
for
that
sure.
was the best and worst of the Nolan trilogy. I will always say the Batman Begins is my favorite. I think it makes Batman an actual character for the first time in the cinematic world.
Yeah.
And and it's before Bale decided to go like, "Rrr." I mean, he does it like once or twice in that one, but he doesn't do it that much,
I think my favorite Batman is Pete Holmes.
Yeah. No, I sort of
Speaking of
I forgive Christian Bale's Batman voice. I like it. I actively enjoy it.
Speaking of the Nolan
Except for
trilogy,
one moment. Except for one moment.
Ben and I were talking about this last night.
I was finishing a thought. I know I'm staccato
where's the
on this.
trigger? Where's the
No,
trigger?
but the thing is, there is a moment where Batman looks away from Catwoman, played by Anne Hathaway, and he turns back and he's like, so that's what that feels like. And the only thing I wish that I could change is that I wish it was just the Bruce Wayne voice.
Yeah.
You were
Well,
saying,
but
Kat.
he didn't do it in the Batman voice though. He did it in like a whisper. He goes
I
like,
think it's kind of like a thing where he's probably mentally trained himself to just do that, so he doesn't have any Freudian.
and it wasn't the full. He wasn't like, so that's what that feels like. He just goes like, he goes like, so that's what that feels like. He did it in like a whisper. So I give it a pass, but I know what you're talking about. So.
Oh my God, Ben! I want your Batman voice as my ring.
Ben and I were talking about this last night regarding Batman Begins. We both thought Cillian Murphy was perfectly cast as the Scarecrow, but they did not go all the way with that character.
Yeah.
Like they could have and probably should have.
He was brilliant.
Right.
He was
Infinity's
brilliant in
right.
that movie, but they should have given him more screen time, I guess. Like,
Infinity's right, as he always is.
What? He's never right. What does he say? Let me refute this monkey. Infinity says Wolverine has healing powers and adamantium claws, while Batman is a guy dressed as a wrestler. Wolverine wins, hands down, no contest. Okay,
I 100% agree with that.
Yeah, you've convinced me.
I 100% agree.
The metal skeleton razor monster beats
he can't
man
die.
in a cloak.
A batarang is gonna like cut his face and then it's gonna immediately heal. Like there's nothing that Batman could do against Wolverine. Sorry.
Yeah.
I would say also regarding the Nolan trilogy that Heath Ledger is my favorite on-screen, my favorite live-action Joker.
Same here.
But I say favorite Joker overall for me is still Mark Hamill because I like that he's really funny. Like Heath's Joker was pretty funny. He got some good laughs on the first viewing, but it's a different type of character.
Here's the crazy thing. So originally they recorded because it was going to be Tim Curry doing the Joker.
Yeah,
really? I didn't know that.
It wasn't working for one reason or another.
Well, they said it was too scary.
And he was Mark Hamill was supposed to be playing another part because he said, "I'll do anything. I just love Batman. I'll do anything." So he came in, did this other role, and I think Paul Dini was like, "Can you just try this out?" And it was like, "Oh, this is great. This is better." So they phoned up Tim Curry and says, "Well, okay, we'll pay you for the whole season. You're under contract. We'll pay you for the whole season, but we're going to go another way with it." Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah.
But yeah, I'd say that. I mean, Ledger's Joker is obviously the X factor, probably for almost any comic book movie. I thought it was anyway.
I think Ledger's Joker is like not only the best like Joker, it's one of the best villains of all time.
Yeah,
in my opinion. Like I remember watching. I think I was 29 or something like that when The Dark Knight came out, and sitting in that theater, like just. You're so on edge that whole movie whenever he shows up on screen. Like it was so menacing. Like I hadn't felt like a villain's presence while watching the movie so hard that I did with that one. It had a lot to do with Hans Zimmer's score too, like the way they built it up when he would show up on screen. But fuck, and he just gave this like new challenge to Batman where Batman's like, I don't know how to do this because I'm used to just doing like good versus evil. Like I'm going to beat up the bad guys. And like, he didn't know what to do. Yeah. And he didn't know what to do.
Some people just want to see the world burn.
Yeah. Me and my friends were in Burma and we found a jewel the size of a tangerine.
I'm Makakain. I'm going to tell you the story of my past as an imperialist warlord.
We found a jewel the
size of a tangerine. No, but I mean, there's so much. The only reason that The Dark Knight works as good as it does is because you're just on edge the entire time from the Joker, even when he's not on screen. Just like what they and it has a lot to do with the writing. I won't give everything to Ledger. Like the writing of his character was great.
No, say it out loud, everyone. Let's all do
Cocaine.
My cocaine. My cocaine.
Cocaine.
it. My
Cocaine.
cocaine.
My
Cocaine.
Sorry,
My
I had to step
cocaine.
away. I had to step away for a bit to take a call. I apologize. What did I miss?
We're talking about the
Just-
Dark Knight.
You only missed my cocaine.
I want to kiss you, Ellen Brody.
Yeah,
But,
Yes.
so, we're talking about the Nolan trilogy in general, what we like about it and stuff like that.
But
Yeah.
I do have to take my leave, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure that you can close up the shop, Cat, right?
I can do that when it's time.
All
Yeah,
right.
here's
Then I'll
Scotty.
see you guys
Yeah,
in the
everybody.
future. Happy fucking Batman Day. Bruce
Happy
Wayne.
fucking Batman Day.
You know,
Later, brother.
give me a grant. You know, Robert Wool is my favorite character
Yes.
as Alexander Knox in
Yes.
all of the Batman movies.
But you
So
know what?
when
Before
you think of
wait,
me,
Scotty.
you think of Alexander Knox.
Wait,
Thank
before
Robert
you
Wool.
leave, Scotty. When I
What?
was a kid, I always thought he said, "Give me $1,000," like he
Yeah.
wanted $1,000.
That's what I thought too. And he said he wanted a grant, and I
Yes.
still don't know what that means.
It's a grant.
What
Later,
do you
bud.
get? What is a grant?
Well, it's money to
Money.
do something with that you
It's
don't
money
need to pay
to
back.
fund your bullshit. Yeah,
That you
yeah.
don't need to pay back.
So, okay, well,
It's like
then
it's like an '80s Kickstarter.
it's an
Yeah.
you know that's gonna be my sign off from now on.
Let's not turn this over to-
Can you give me a grant?
Okay, there we go.
I know while I was on the phone, I heard something
My
about
cocaine.
Michael K.
My cocaine.
Okay, hold on. What Ernesto?
I think I overheard the whole thing with Christian Bale's voice and stuff like that, the Batman voice. I think hindsight being 2020, if it would have just been secluded to Batman Begins, that
Yeah.
would have been fine. And I don't know, call it lazy or just no foresight, because we see it in Batman versus Superman. The voice scrambler would have been good for the Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises.
Well, he doesn't do it in Batman Begins. That's the thing. He keeps it low key, more like Michael Keaton. It's not until the Dark Knight where he does that. You know.
Yeah, but he's doing a voice to hide his actual voice when he's under the cowl in Batman Begins. I can accept that because he hasn't thought about the character itself to have a voice scrambler. But as his suit is changing and he's getting more gadgets, a voice scrambler should have been like a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Especially with everything that went through with Dark Knight Rises about people not being able to understand Tom Hardy under the mask. And they finally went through the whole thing to edit it in such a way that people can understand
Or maybe
him.
he just didn't want to sound like Skrillex.
Mm-hmm. I thought
You know,
he
Skrillex
sounded better in that prologue that they released than he did in the final movie. I had no problem understanding it.
Dude, I would have loved a Dark Knight movie where he does the whole he does the entire he does a whole fucking prologue where he's like, yeah, so I was in the snow, and then in the snow the villains tried to kill me.
What?
And then anyway, sorry.
No, I was saying that his voice from the prologue I thought was much better than when they changed it for the rest of the movie, because they made it much more high pitched. I didn't have any. I heard it first on a YouTube. It was just a black screen and there was no subtitles. I just heard the audio.
Yeah.
And I had no problem understanding what he was saying. So I had no understanding of all these critics who got invited to an IMAX theater with state of the art sound couldn't understand a word that he was. I was like, "Are you kidding?" Because I really loved that original voice was a lot more intimidating.
I agree.
Yeah, but I liked him overall as Bane though.
Hello. When I do it, I always turn into Adam Sandler, which is not quite as good. Hello.
Oh, no, please. Oh, no. Yeah, where he does the baby voice.
Yeah.
That's great, Tony. That's great. I love the like we are here for you
We are
here
here
in
for
Gotham.
you.
Do with it what you please.
See, that would be so much better, right? Maybe we can get the Adam Sandler cut now. We just gotta
Going
give him the money.
going
You know,
back.
Adam Sandler could probably play a pretty good Riddler. He's a good
What was
actor.
that your stuff?
Oh no, let him finish.
No,
Oh, he
I'm
said,
done.
he said Adam Sandler could play a pretty good Riddler.
Yeah, I'm done. Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna go back to the topic of the Penguin.
Yeah.
The actress who they chose to play the daughter Falcone, just looking at her, the way she was acting, how big her eyes were, and how expressionless and expression they had, like back and forth, like if you're in Oswald's shoes, you're just like, what the fuck is going on behind those eyes? I have no idea what she's thinking. I don't know if she's being serious
Yeah.
or she's yanking my chain. And I'm looking at her, I'm just like, I hate to say it, but I could totally see her in a Tim Burton world as part of the Falcone family.
Yeah.
Because she looks like an actress that would fit the kind of aesthetic that would go for with his actors
So
in
kooky. So
in his
kooky.
yeah. She has that Pee Wee Herman face. Let's put it that way. She has that face.
Resting Pee-wee face.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's got the I don't know about Pee Wee Herman, but she's got the dark circles and
Yeah, she's got it. She's got that gothic look to her.
That sort of ventriloquist dummy look.
I like that. I really like that scene where they're at the dinner together. Like that was where that's basically where like Oz is like, fuck, like I have to get.
Her acting shows. And her acting shows because she is a tiny woman. The actress, she is a tiny woman. So the fact that she could,
and she's intimidating. She's very intimidating.
The fact that she can come off as intimidating and not knowing what's going on through her head, that's good acting.
Well, that's the thing. Like she has to be intimidating and control this business, but she's also nuts because she's
nuts, but she's not stupid. She already knew from the get-go that Oswald has something to do with her brother not coming back home.
She's the only one that knows. She's the only one that knows. Yeah.
I wish they had not skipped the scene where she inevitably had to walk back in the greenhouse to let him go because it cuts afterwards to him just waiting for the kid. And I thought that was that would be like, oh, okay, because I suspect that she still thinks there might be some fuckery afoot.
Oh no, for sure. She knows. Well, and that's the greatest scene in the first episode where he just randomly shoots the Falcone kid. Fucking, I was like, okay, I already like this show because it's just like that wasn't premeditated. He just was like, fuck, I gotta do this.
Like his mom thought it was impulsive.
Yeah, the mom scene to me was kind of weird, but I guess that's a big Penguin comic book thing from way back in the day. Was, I mean, not from the movies or whatever, but like I think the Gotham show talked about that a lot, like that his mom.
Well, it is a big thing for his character. He has a lot of mommy issues. So
it reminds me of Kat. You can help me out here because it's been a while since I've read the comic. When the war of jokes and riddles was going on, there was a comic featuring Penguin, and Penguin is trying to tell Joker, hey, there's only one person who's going to be in charge here, and that's me, not you. I'm paraphrasing, but that's what he's trying to get across. And Joker's just looking at him like, okay, I see you. And then cut to the next panel, and he's in front of Oswald's desk, and he's throwing a bag full of teeth that looked like they were recently pulled out and bloody. And I said, I visited your mother's home. She says hi, although I recommend a good dentist. And you can see Penguin's face like, what the fuck? and you can see the horror in his face because it's like, how do you know where my mother lives? Because you would think it would be a very secure location and not many people randomly, like the Joker, would know where his mother lives, but he managed to find her and pulled the teeth out just to put Penguin in line.
Well, because Penguin was never like, he was always like a mob boss. If you guys remember, like after Batman Begins, a lot of people were saying Philip Seymour Hoffman, Penguin, and that would have actually been fucking perfect. Like
Yeah, for Batman 3, that's where they're all saying they thought that was
Or
going to happen.
Batman 3, yeah. God,
Yeah.
that would have been so
Dark
good.
Knight.
That would have been so.
I remember
fucking...
when all these casting rumors were coming out, someone on DeviantArt put a photoshopped image of, I think Tom Hardy was supposed to be under the Black Mask character, Philip Seymour Hoffman as Penguin, Sam Neill was supposed to be Mad Hatter, and Johnny Depp for the Riddler.
Yeah, I've seen all that.
I think I remember seeing that. Yeah, I don't know if any of that was true, but I think I remember, like, Kat, we saw those images, right? Like,
what was true was that apparently the rumors about Hoffman got so fervent that at one point he was being interviewed for something, and the interviewer brought it up, and he's like, yeah, I've been hearing that too, but I've not heard anything from the studio about that. But I do know what the studio wanted was DiCaprio as the Riddler, and Nolan and Goyer are like, no, that's not how we work. That
was never going to happen.
No. They're like, we come up with a story arc first, and then we decide who is the natural antagonist that would arise, or what natural obstacles would arise out of the character arc we want to tell with Batman, and then it kind of presents itself. But that was the one that the studio floated, even though I didn't see any DeviantArt about that. But yeah.
I mean,
I
would have liked him as the Penguin, but I also I respect everything that Christopher Nolan does, and I was like, you know what, Bane, that works for this movie, you know. And Tom Hardy worked for it. The movie has its problems for sure, but like, I was fine that they chose that because they didn't want to go the gangster guy route again. They wanted to do a imposing big fucking beat guy, you know.
DVB asked, so do you think it was lame how Tim Burton killed off Joker and Penguin in his movies?
Yes. I hated that they killed off the Joker. Yeah.
Joker, that was kind of a surprise that they killed him so quickly. Penguin, it was kind of fitting to his character arc.
He threw me out a window.
With Penguin, it was fitting.
Yeah. There's always He's just oozing black out of his mouth.
But with Penguin, it was fitting to his character arc because his parents wanted to throw him in the sewer, drown him in the river, and that's exactly where he ends up at the end of the movie. So I thought that was poetic and kind of justified, especially since they went a different direction with that character for that movie.
Yeah. It was Killer Croc.
But yeah, basically, yeah.
I am. And this is just me being a purist. I don't want any Rogues Gallery character that's a major player to just be killed off because like you have a lot more potential to keep them alive and rotate them if you want. It's why I like Cillian Murphy as Scarecrow coming in and out.
But remember, they didn't kill the Joker. He was alive, but then Heath Ledger died, and they were like, well, we can't use him again now because of that. But they didn't kill the Joker. And if anything, that scene mimics a lot of the original 1989 Joker, where he spins the thing and shoots the thing. But this time he pulls him up instead of him like dying from a statue pulling him down. So like, yeah, the Joker actually lives in the Dark Knight.
That's also taken from the first Joker story where Batman knocks Joker off the scaffolding at the abandoned building.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just a bummer that it seemed like Christopher Nolan might have used the Joker again, but Heath Ledger died. So
I don't think Nolan would have used him again. I think because he said the only reason he came back to do the first sequel was because he was curious about what the Joker would even look like in that world. And the third one was that Warner Brothers made him an offer he couldn't refuse for Batman 3, which is, we'll give you like a 3-picture deal.
We'll give you
a 3-picture deal if you come back and do a third Batman movie.
But there's a lot of talk about like how there was stuff written about like how the Joker was going to basically be the character that the Scarecrow was, where he's like the guy with the gavel and and like telling people who's going to. So there could have been a character there, but
let me clarify because that wasn't what I was getting at. My thing is that if you look at a lot of superhero movies, there was this long running expectation. I don't even know if expectation is the right word, but if you pay attention to a lot of the movies, superhero movies that were coming out, even when the MCU was happening, every single villain the hero was squaring off was getting killed off. And I'm like, why are you killing them? Leave them alive and rotate them, which is why I like the aspect that Killian Murphy as Scarecrow kept coming back and was being rotated, because that makes sense to me that he's still out there.
Yeah.
It made
No,
I
agree. I agree. I never think you should kill off a villain. It's like, especially a legacy villain like Joker or Penguin.
Or Two-Face.
Yeah, Two-Face. Well, and God, the Two-Face thing in The Dark Knight to me was the biggest missed opportunity, because I love how they created. I love Aaron Eckhart in that role. I think they should have expanded that to the next movie, but obviously, like Kat said, Christopher Nolan didn't even want to do a third movie. So,
well, I also thought that was also a very different version of Two-Face. Like, he was like, they basically did the Joker's philosophy of from The Killing Joke of one bad day can turn anybody into a monster, because Harvey's just unhinged because he's so devastated and wants revenge.
Yeah.
But if he had lived, I don't picture that guy coming back and becoming the Two-Face from the comics either. I know everybody was thinking, oh, maybe he's not actually dead and they'll bring him back. I think, I think he's done for. And that's kind of his, like, the only reason they did the makeup thing, or I mean, they did CG for that, was they did that for the fans, because he was doing a very different take on the character. Because it was just like the only reason they even have him become Two-Face is to pay off that one bad day, Killing Joke philosophy. And in hindsight, to me, it almost seems like a no-brainer to have Joker do that to Harvey Dent. It's like, wow, that would be a great comic book story even. Instead, they did it in The Dark Knight. I think that's another reason why the movie has staying power, because it's like, oh yeah, that is kind of a neat, an idea that seems to go hand in hand.
Yeah, and it was already a red herring when he didn't get the acid thrown in his face in the courtroom, which they
yeah.
At that point, you are expecting the Two-Face. You just don't know when or how.
But it was still Batman that he blamed for it.
To DVB, I was just quoting what Danny DeVito said at the Oscars.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, DeVito. He said that it was lame how DeVito didn't even remember that his character died. How his character died. Well, it's kind of like when they asked. Tommy Lee Jones was being interviewed for some movie, and they asked him, oh, what do you think about Aaron Eckhart playing Two-Face? Do you give him your blessing? That stupid question that they always ask actors who used to play comic book roles. Do you give your blessing? And Tommy Lee Jones is like, I thought they killed my character off, because he didn't even know there was a new continuity of Batman movies.
It's like when you're on the red carpet and someone's like, hey, I hear Agatha is the gayest Marvel show of all time. And you're supposed to answer that somehow. It's like,
yeah.
Okay.
Well, that just happened at Comic-Con when somebody, Harrison Ford was there for the Captain America thing, and they asked him what he thinks about, who is the anchor being at Earth.
Whenever you ask Harrison Ford anything, he's going to be like, I don't care.
Exactly.
I always think Harrison Ford is high when he's on these things.
Well, he is.
Always.
Because he's very shy when it comes to press and being on stage, even though he's an actor.
I think he's super stoned. I'm with you.
Thank you for the compliment, DVB. He says, great point about Penguin's character arc in Batman Returns. Thank you for that. And he says also, Catwoman got thrown out of the window, not Penguin. Well, Penguin fell through the window, kind of, instead of getting thrown out, because he falls through into Arctic world.
Yeah,
there's a lot of like back and forth on whether or not, like, Selena Kyle, when Max Schreck threw her through the window, did she just live through that? Like, I think she died, and I think the cats brought her back, even though that's stupid.
What it was.
It doesn't make sense any other way, because she dies like 5 times in the movie. Yeah. So it has to be that. Yeah. But there's a lot of people like, wow, she fell through the glass, so she didn't die. I'm like, well, dude, that would kill anybody. So yeah.
DVB says Billy D. Williams should have been Two-Face in Batman Forever. Totally agree.
Yep.
That character was just a Joker ripoff. No shade thrown on Tommy Lee Jones. He just did what he was told to do. But that was just a Joker ripoff thing, and Billy D would have been great. And I thought I like that they let him voice Two-Face in Lego Batman, even if it was like a one-line thing. I thought that was still kind of nice.
But Kat, can I say this to you?
Yeah.
I do not sanction your buffoonery. You know what that is, right?
Yeah.
It sounds
That's
familiar.
what Tommy Lee Jones said to Jim Carrey.
Yeah, he came and sat down next to him, didn't he? At a restaurant.
I do not sanction your buffoonery when they were working on that movie. And Jim Carrey's like, all right, whatever, man. I don't give a shit.
It's funny because when he's not acting like the Joker and he's playing the straight man to Jim Carrey's The Riddler, it works because they're supposed to be an odd duo. They're not supposed to gel together, but they do. And then when they both start acting, it's like, you're kind of breaking the spell of the odd couple here.
Yeah, I agree with that. And then it doesn't help that you have like the layer of like Two-Face where you have like Drew Barrymore on one side and some other chick on the other side.
Debbie Mazar.
Yeah.
Drew Barrymore and Debbie Mazar.
But he's not acting any different, but the characters that are split are, it's like, I don't think Tommy Lee Jones understood the assignment.
No.
I also feel like if you really think about it, I mean, in the comics, it's established that with Two-Face, that's the rule of two. It's always making references to the number 2 or double, duo, everything that has to do with two. And in the movie, they just took it and they just, instead of, I mean, they address it, but then they design him, and then all of a sudden, hey, you know what? Let's make his lair look exactly like he looks, and let's give him 2 of this and 2 of that. I'm just like, that's not how the Two-Face works, but okay.
Well,
like it's funny because
it doesn't work like that in the movie because they never established that he's 2 different characters in the movie. He's just always acting like a low rent Joker the entire movie.
Yeah, he's Two-Face in name only, and when he tosses the coin. In the beginning, when he's talking to the guard and he's very soft-spoken and very calm, and then he turns, you're just like, okay, this makes sense. And then when he stays in that high-tech, high-impact mode the whole time, okay, it's like, okay, then now you're just being the Joker.
Yeah. DVB said Tommy Lee Jones is an epic actor. It was ridiculous how underused he was in Batman Forever. Yeah.
Underused? He was way overused.
No, I would blame it on him. I would blame it on the actor, to be honest with you. But okay, Tommy Lee Jones and Lonesome Dub. Oh,
yeah. I don't think it's so much the actor because again, why is he just, like, to Ernesto's point? Why is he just being the insane Two-Face the entire time and not Harvey Dent? It's like,
well, that's what I said too.
And I think that's kind of what Schumacher wanted him to do. Well, you've seen him play crazy characters before.
Yeah.
And it's also kind of, I would love to be on a fly on the wall where someone decided, I mean, they wanted to rush Batman and Robin after the success of Batman Forever, but it's like, okay, they toned it down between Batman Returns to Batman Forever because of the parents getting pissed off at how, graphic.
Yeah, like you're getting Happy Meals with a penguin who gets murdered with blood spraying out of his mouth. Yeah.
And then you get Forever, and they lighten it up a bit, but not too much that it was jarring. It was a good balance of both, and you can still sell your toys. And then we get to Batman and Robin, and they went full retard right there with the crazy, wacky, bright stuff. But then they wanted to bring it back to a more Tim Burton style with Batman Triumphant, which never happened, and then we get Batman Begins.
Yeah,
and Jack Nicholson was supposed to come back.
I don't think they wanted him back. I don't think
Scarecrow.
Well, he was supposed to come back as an apparition because he was supposed to. Batman was supposed to be exposed to a gas, and he was supposed to see him in the background.
That's right.
Was it Howard Stern that was going to play Scarecrow, or was it Jeff Goldblum?
I can't remember. They were throwing around weird names back then just for the hell of it. I think you might be right.
Yeah. I will say this: from Batman Forever, my favorite scene of the whole movie. The whole movie is when Two-Face thinks he killed Batman in a fiery inferno, and you just see him just walking out of the flames, basically untouched, and Tom Lee Jones is like, "Why can't you just die?" And he starts shooting everything. That was a great scene because it's like Schumacher understood the assignment right there. The Batman is like he fits the rumors of a demon. He's a shadow in the night. He's someone who you can't kill or beat. And that right there is just proving the point of the legend of the Batman. And Tommy Jones is like, you should have been dead. Why aren't you dead?
I do find it interesting that Christopher Nolan did take Two-Face's ending with the coin flip from Batman Forever and put it at the end of The Dark Knight, where the same thing happens. He's flipped his coin. You can't let it stop, and it lands face up, and it would have been all right. But
I don't know. I don't think I would. I mean, yeah, unless we asked him directly if that was supposed to be a callback to Batman Forever. But Two-Face always makes a decision with the coin, so it's just.
Oh no, I don't. I meant when they kill the character at the end of both movies. It's Batman having to make a split-second decision before he catches that coin, because the alternative is going to be Endgame. Like we're done. Like he was going to shoot them, or he was going to kill. Or Batman was going to kill the kid.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys, I gotta say la vie. Thank you so much for the invite, Kat.
Of course.
I love you dearly. I love you dearly, Tony, and Batman Jr. or Ernesto, whatever. You guys are great. Can't wait to talk to you guys again. But thank you so much for having me on,
Bye,
Kat.
Ben.
This was so much fun talking Batman with you guys. I loved it. Thank you.
Yes. Awesome. Back anytime.
Bye.
But yeah, so it might have been, might have not been, not sure.
I mean, it could be a coincidence because Two-Face, whenever the coin is involved, you have to make a split decision, and the only time Two-Face is ever vulnerable is when he's waiting for the coin to drop.
Yeah.
And it just happens to work that way, and it makes sense that I'm giving you two options. That's part of the character.
Yeah.
You live or you die.
So here's a question. How about predictions? They say that the end of the Penguin show, there will be a time jump from there a bigger time jump than 1 week before it goes into Batman Part 2.
Right.
And that at the start of Part 2, Batman will already be working another case. So it's not going to be like the start of the case like we had in The Batman. And
So
Matt Reeves has alluded that there's going to be more layers of corruption in the city, which makes me think Court of Owls potentially.
Quite possibly, yeah.
Because he keeps talking about how he's trying to push the societal divide in Gotham, and how the people living in their own little echo chambers, like we had with Riddler, even at the beginning of the Penguin, when the news anchors are talking about the poor neighborhoods got destroyed, the rich neighborhoods are fine.
Well, here's the thing. Do you think that Penguin's going to survive the series?
I would assume so. I think he's confirmed because
is he definitely in Part 2?
Well, yeah, because I think Colin Farrell, he says that it's on the table whether or not they do another season of Penguin, and he's like, oh man, doing that makeup that much was really hard for him for that all the months they're shooting that. He's like, it drove him crazy. He's like, I don't know if I could do that again for that length of time.
What? Compared to what actors have been put through when there was no regulations, he's getting off scot-free.
Oh my God, yeah.
Oh, for sure. And I would think that he's not going to die, because I think they want to set him up as, like, remember how throughout the first movie or during the marketing, they kept saying, oh, Penguin's not really in it very much. I'm like, you kidding? He had more screen time than the Riddler, and the Riddler's the main villain. But I think this whole series is positioning it that Oz, like I think he's going to usurp the Maronis and the Falcones to be the new boss. Iceberg Lounge is going to get a total makeover. He's going to be the Penguin that we see from the comics, and he'll be the new mob boss in town for the sequel, but I don't necessarily think that means he's going to be the main villain.
Yeah, and I also see Penguin in this iteration, just like in the comics to a degree, depending on which source you're pulling from. I see Penguin being as that barrier where nothing happens in Gotham without him knowing about it, and he's going to be an unofficial informant for the Batman, because Batman in many instances in the comics, he's always going to the Penguin at the Iceberg Lounge to ask for information. He's like, hey, nothing goes through the docks without you knowing. Nothing goes through this without you knowing. Who has been doing this and stuff? And basically, it's like, look, I can put you away for a lot of the shit that you're doing. The problem is that I can't prove it outright because for X, Y, and Z reason why he can't prove it. Like there's a legal reason why Batman is not able to bring the Penguin
Yeah.
in and lets them stay at the Iceberg Lounge. So until he can prove a way to bring him in, he's going to use him as an informant. So I can see him doing that.
Well, in the comics, Penguin works for the government now, so he's still a criminal, but he's kind of siphoning. So he works for the government, and he's also a criminal kingpin at the same time.
Which is also based on reality, where a lot like a lot of agencies are working with known criminals, but they're small fry compared to the bigger fish.
Right, Whitey Bulger.
Yeah, and also, I remember talking with Kat about this when she mentioned the Court of Owls. If it weren't for everything that happened with Batfleck and everything, because the original designs for Robert Pattinson's suit was pretty much lifted from the designs of what Batfleck's suit was supposed to be in his solo, except they made it look more like rookie-ish and not more high-tech. It would have been so great to see Ben Affleck as Batman, a seasoned crime fighter. He's in his late 40s. He's in his late 40s, and he's coming across this new adversary called the Court of Owls. And it's just like, I've been in Gotham for this long, and how am I just now finding out about this organization?
Yeah.
And then you find out that they've been behind the scenes since day one. Because you can tie it back to Batman versus Superman. He's like, 20 years in Gotham, Alfred. How many good guys have gone? How many stay good? And it's just like, 20 years in Gotham, and I'm just now finding out about the Court of Owls? What the fuck?
Speaking of which, one of the things I would assume would have to come up at the Penguin show is the immediate pressing issue for the Falcones that they've just lost access to the renewal fund. Because I would assume that with the Riddler having revealed it, that Bruce Wayne is going to swoop in and, start managing it, because technically it's his fund that he started, or trying to help manage it, or Bella Real will. Because that would be an issue that they've lost all of that, not to mention the economic disaster that Gotham should be in from the flood.
It probably is. It probably is. We're just not seeing it.
Yeah.
We see that the streets are still messed up.
Yeah. DVB says Colin Farrell's Penguin is missing one important thing. An effing monocle.
I like what they did with the in the Arkham games, and it was a broken bottle that was jammed into
that's
one
right.
arm.
DVB completely agrees with you, Ernesto.
Oh, thank you. It'd be funny. I mean, it could work. You just have to not be so, pardon the pun, on the nose with it. But maybe somebody with a very, they already did it in the Hawkeye. No, did they? No, they did it in the Hawkeye show where Echo shoots Kingpin in the face and he's missing an eye. They could probably do something like that where somebody shoots him or somebody stabs him and stabs his eye out, or it gets severely scratched off. Like maybe he's fighting against daughter Falcone and she claws his eye out in the process. Who knows?
Maybe they go falconing together.
Well, DVB, he's also missing his top hat. He doesn't have that yet either.
This Penguin is not going to have the top hat. We already know that. At least
he might if he wants to appear more gentlemanly. That's kind of the joke, right? He always wants to pretend like he's a high society type, even though he's not.
Yeah, but the way he is now, I don't see him. I don't see him making a fool of himself to blend in.
I liked him in the tux, actually. That sort of 50s style tux that he wore in the first film. I like that. That was good.
Yeah. So
at least the top hat makes sense because he's always catering to a lot of wealthy people at the Iceberg Lounge, and it's part of the aesthetic. So he pretty much wears it as a uniform because of the aesthetic of his casino. But out in the world, I don't see him wearing the top hat.
Yeah.
Nor do I see him with an umbrella that can shoot bullets out of either. That's a Tim Burton thing that went into the comics and stayed there.
So here's the thing. Who do you want to see as a villain in the Batman Part 2, given how the tone of Reeves's Batman world is?
Well, if let's say we go with the theory that we're going to get the Court of Owls, and a lot of people have been clamoring or mentioning Victor Freeze in this series. I don't expect getting a cold gun, but I do expect a scientist who's been able to master cryogenics
Yeah.
in such a way that it's kind of beyond the science of what you expect cryogenics is in the real world, but the cryogenics that the Court of Owls depends on
Yeah.
in order for their
The talons.
to survive.
Yeah, the
Yes,
talons.
the
Yeah.
talons.
Right, because Reeves did say he wants to push it to the edge of the fantastical when he said that Gentleman Ghost wouldn't be a villain because he's a ghost and it's too far. But he's like, yeah, I really want to push certain characters to the very edge of the fantastical. So it's like that kind of hints that he is going to do something which would totally seem that way.
There are a lot of street level villains that they can use and really stretch them. Like you can get Ratcatcher, a version of Ratcatcher here, not as a main villain, but as somebody that's a bottom feeder, bottom of the food chain, literally. You can get a Dr. Phosphorus, but not literally Dr. Phosphorus.
Deadshot could work.
Deadshot could work as an assassin.
So what did you guys? What about the leading theory people had about Clayface? Because I was trying to figure out how that would work in the Reeves universe.
Clayface can work if and only it's a situation where it's like, oh, he's a master of disguise.
Well, you could have an actor that maybe had a stroke, and that he's literally half of his face is kind of he can't control it anymore.
Well, I know in the newest. Well, you haven't seen it, right? The new Batman Cape Crusader series?
No, that's on Prime. I don't have that.
Well, throwing this as an example, and also from the original Batman the Animated Series, Clayface was able to remold his face because he got this industry not approved, not even FDA approved makeup kit, and he was able to mold his face. So you can kind of make a situation where he injects himself with something and it makes his face pliable, but the more he uses it, the more he loses rigidity and of his face, and it starts to melt off the more he uses it. I
read an article today that Reeves was like a consultant for that. Like he helped pitch that. I don't know if that's true or not, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I mean, if you're talking about stretching it, then yes, no pun intended. That's how you can do it. Otherwise, you're doing a Mission Impossible situation.
I think he's an executive producer on the cartoon.
Yeah, but at this point, you're probably going into Mission Impossible territory where he has a machine that makes masks for him.
I do like what you guys mentioned about how Victor Freeze would work with the Court of Owls. That's actually a neat idea.
Yeah, and it's also been done in the comics under Scott Snyder, where Victor Freeze, his ability to master the cold, as you should say, is a boon for the Court of Owls.
Yeah.
Right.
And then at that point, you're wondering if he's going to even introduce. I know it's unlikely.
Would they have him be literally cold-blooded? Because that is a condition some very rare that people can have.
It could in a way if you take away Nora, if you take away the wife altogether, and you make his research into cryogenics because of his rare blood disease.
Yeah, and the thing about Nora that I thought was interesting is that given that the first movie, Bruce Wayne is the way he is because of what he lost, and it took the Riddler to kind of have his come to Jesus moment to realize I've gone too dark and too far down this rabbit hole of vengeance, that if Victor Freeze is willing to do terrible things to not lose somebody, that could be an interesting confrontation of sorts between Batman and Freeze. That, hey man, I lost everything and look at what happened. You're on the opposite. Like you're not wanting to let go and you're just doing all this terrible stuff.
And they can do something where instead of using the Nora character, they can maybe introduce a new backstory that ties into why he wants to research this specific type of science. And you can tie it to his very rare medical condition, but also to somebody else that he knew that had a rare medical condition. And because technology wasn't advanced enough to save that person in general, that's why he is the leading scientist in cryogenics, whatever. And if you really want to tie it back to Batman in a way, you can make him an employee at Wayne Enterprises.
Yeah,
true.
And we haven't even seen Wayne Enterprises in this universe yet. We've only heard about the investors telling, hey, if you don't get your your son over back to the company. We're gonna chapter 11 or something like that.
Yeah, because I would just assume, as far as this going off the way Nolan thinks in terms of come up with your character arc first and what obstacle arises, that I would imagine that Bruce would take some time off as Batman to, one, learn to be a better detective, because he was not a very good detective the first time around, and secondly, I think he would want to invest some of his own money or get involved in helping to clean up Gotham after the flood, because he probably does feel a bit responsible for what happened. And even though the renewal project was the renewal fund was gifted to the city, I would imagine, in light of what the Riddler said, he's probably going to team up with the new mayor to, take control of that and make it do what it's supposed to do. So that way, when he finally does put the cape and the cowl back on, because given this Penguin series, I mean, they're going to have to, if the shit starts hitting the fan with the show, they're going to have to come up with good reasons as to why Batman is not there. And I would think it's probably going to be because he's taken a step back to, get his bearings after what happens in the first movie.
I think you can justify Batman not being there if it's not something that's happening where he knows about it. Because a lot of things happen in Gotham that he's not aware of it until people start making noise, and then it attracts his attention.
Well, that's the line from I think is that the first thing he says is, it's a big city and I can't be everywhere.
Yeah, that's true.
And again, it's year 2 Batman in the Batman, so he is still getting his bearings. He's not the world's greatest detective, but he is a better detective than most people in the room.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Another thing I like about, in terms of characterization for Penguin, it's like when him and Victor get on the subway and he doesn't want to sit in the disabled seat.
Yeah.
Even though he clearly needs it, because he's kind of so I like that they added that layer to the character. And while they're standing around, you have that guy walking around trying to hand out the Riddler QR code.
Yeah.
And I thought that's really, apparently that QR code works, by the way. If you scan it, if you freeze frame it and scan it, it'll take you to rataalada.com again, where there's more stuff going on.
Yeah, I don't have time for that.
all the Riddler people on the message boards, who some of them are the same names of the ones from his secret video of what gauge, what caliber. Like, some of those people are talking again about how they're upset that Sophia Falcone got let out. You did better. The corrupt people in charge are still doing this shit. That kind of thing.
And again, this is a lot of situations where Batman doesn't have his fingers in every corner of the city just yet. He's just starting out, and I do hope they do explore the fact that Bruce Wayne's wealth can be used to help fix the city, because they've done that a lot in the comics, and it shows in the comics where a lot of his money goes into fixing the city, especially in a lot of offshoot self-contained stories where I think it was Batman White Knight, where the Joker takes an experimental drug because Batman got pissed off and he made him choke on it, and it basically fixed him temporarily. And at one point, Joker says, "Oh, I figured out you were Bruce Wayne the whole time." And it's like, how? Because every single destruction caused by the Batman got fixed by Bruce Wayne.
DVB's too much crime in Gotham for Batman to handle. Maybe he should get a sidekick.
Well, we know it's not going to happen in Matt Reeves' Batman.
No.
That's going to be James Gunn's Batman from the get. So we're not going to get that. It would have been great, but no. Even if you were to get a Dark Victory style of Dick Grayson into the fold, it's not going to happen. I don't see Matt Reeves actually wanting to even try to make it work in his Batman world. Because the only way that you can, it's kind of like when you're watching Kick-Ass. Because of the world and how it is, you can buy that hit girl and exist the way she does. Not in this Batman universe.
Yeah. Oh no. Well, let's face it. He when he used his wingsuit, he couldn't land on his own. Not like, I mean, you thought the Nolan films were relatively grounded, but at least he could control where he went when he was using his wingsuit.
But I at least like that in this one. It's a squirrel suit. It makes sense because that's more military grade.
Yeah,
and a lot of people use it for spelunking. Ironically.
Mm.
Yeah, and he had to use the ball at the end because he couldn't land
Yeah.
without it.
I'll say this though, everything he was wearing in the first movie, I think you're slowly going to see him abandon a lot of the tanky
Oh yeah,
exterior he's using, and he's going to go for something more. Not, I don't want to use the word practical, but more aerodynamic and less heavy. So
and
he's not going to be bulletproof
yeah,
forever, because that's kind of cheating in a way.
yeah,
How he's just walking through and the bullets are not doing anything. I'm just like, well, now you're just not Batman. Now you're just a Terminator.
yeah. Well, and I think he's probably going to get a proper utility belt as well.
Yeah, and then he'll probably start using the batarangs because he didn't have any long range artillery. Because even when you see him fighting the goons in the subway at the beginning of the movie, he's letting them hit him in the face because he knows his cowl is going to take the brunt of it. But a seasoned Batman wouldn't let anybody touch him unless they're
No.
skilled fighters.
Right.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways that they can go. And because this happened around Halloween, and it took what, like maybe a week for all this to go down in the
Yeah.
Batman, all that water coming in, you can't tell me that by the time, unless there's a time jump within a year or two,
Oh yeah,
you can't tell me that there's not going to be a massive winter coming into Gotham at some point.
That's what people are already speculating, that would be, set up for, redesigning the Iceberg Lounge, Mr. Freeze, maybe. So that'd be, and we don't know how long this series takes place over. Maybe it'll just be a week or something, but we'll see.
Yeah, unless he wants to do it in real time, and by the time the Batman 2 comes out, however long it's taken before the movie comes out, it's exactly how much time has passed in universe.
I like this DVB. Thankfully, Batman has a bulletproof chin.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
It's
still
like
like that. I still like that Matt Reeves' Batman suit looks very similar to one of the animated sequences from Batman Gotham Knight. And
Yeah.
it's the
Yes.
sequence where he comes up with this magnetic tool that he attaches to his suit where it deflects bullets and it keeps them safe. However, it works so well that the bullet that he deflects hits an innocent bystander that he was supposed to save in the first place. And you look at that suit, and it's got like a very, it's got like a, how would I describe it? It looks like it's a cape, but it also feels like a very gothic vampire-esque cape where the shoulders are a piece onto itself.
Yeah.
So that's why I like that he's got that
The collar.
that collar that's very pronounced.
Yeah.
Yeah,
'Cause
I'm just like, I wonder.
it's
I
actual
wonder if that's
clothing,
something.
right?
What?
Because it feels like actual clothing rather than
Yes.
a costume.
Yeah, I mean, you can look at it, and it's also you can also tell the suit is fire retardant when you see it in the corner because it's very baggy. It's not tight, but it's got that fire retardant
Yeah.
kind of jumpsuit style to it.
And he's got like combat pants on, right?
Yeah, it's very military grade.
And a
It makes sense
harness.
because well, Wayne Enterprises, they do military grade stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also feel that moving forward, I don't know if it's going to happen in James Gunn's Batman, but I am ready for the white iris cowl and not the raccoon eyes. I'm ready for the white iris.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, I mean, they came close to that because his contacts kind of give that, they kind of reflect, don't they? So he kind of has the white irises, but not much. But I think you're right. I think we're going to get the white irises because I think his tech's going to be able to do more stuff.
Yeah, like he can. I'm sure there is a way to do it, but nobody has done it because I guess they're so used to Batman's eyes actually being seen that they don't want to cover that.
Or they might be like maybe a silvery color. They might not be white, but they might be kind of a reflective. You know?
Yeah, even in the comics, when you look at Dick Grayson and he's got his eye cover, you can see that his eyeball is very, very close to whatever film is covering the exterior. So it could be something that's kind of like a contact lens, but it's built into the mask that no matter how tight it gets into your eyes, it's like a liquid mesh that also is nanotechnology.
Yeah.
Kind of. It's a comic book. Just do it already. God damn
Yeah.
it.
Well, this is getting on to like Daredevil. It's like a lot of people were really pissed off at the Netflix show because he had armor on, and it's like, well, there are some comic book characters that don't need armor, like Spider-Man, but in live action, Spider-Man doesn't need armor because he's fast, he's strong, and he's got healing factor. Daredevil, on the other hand, that they've established that he doesn't really have. He has decent reflexes, but all of his powers come from his perception. So he needs something other than spandex. Whereas in the comics it works. On the page it works. On the screen, not so much.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be armor. It just it can't look like it's something you can buy at a party city for a night out of town. It's like, and at the same time, the beauty of Daredevil is that half the time, if not most of the time, he has no idea what the hell he's wearing because somebody makes it for him.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is why he wears like the mustard yellow brown suit for a while, because it's like, well, I don't know what the hell this thing looks like. I'm just wearing it.
Let's see. Where is?
What was that last comment? I didn't see it.
It says James Gunn might do a good job of the DC universe, maybe.
My only complaint with James Gunn, he needs to get off of social media and stop antagonizing people when it comes to rumors. It's like, Lee, stop doing that, okay?
Yeah.
Nobody's. You don't have to respond to every single rumor or everything. Let the people run with it and stop shutting it down. You're kind of ruining the fun here.
Never go full Trump.
And at the same time, when he says something, no, this is not going to happen, and then somehow when it does happen, it's just like, well, James, you told us it wasn't going to happen. What about that? You made it very painfully clear just a couple of months ago, and now it's happening. So which is it? It's why he needs to stay away, because the creative process changes so much that he can't just put his foot down and expect it's not going to change. Yes, you're in charge, but you're also doing this with Peter Safran. You're not the only person in charge.
Yeah, totally.
Deadman said, yeah.
Also, there are all different teams working on all the different things. The cartoon,
exactly.
And sorry, Karen Cap.
I was gonna say one thing we didn't talk about were the Batmobiles. Deadman says Batman '89 has the best Batmobile.
Yeah. I really like the Batmobile in the Batman. It's like a muscle car. Which is,
At least that one is good, because in the original Detective Comics, he's basically driving a hot rod with a bat face.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that it's basically a sports car with the equivalent of a jet engine in the back, which, by the way, that scene when he's powering up the car, mwah!
Oh, yeah. You know, that scene alone is what got them the sound nomination at the Oscars.
That IMAX moment when you're just seeing the Batmobile just turning on, and it's this screech where everybody is paying attention, just like, what the fuck is that? Like, they know it's a car, but they've never seen a car make that kind of noise before. And they're just like, who the fuck is this guy?
That is a pretty good car. I liked the in the Burton Schumacher era, I liked the one from Batman Forever, which was like a skeleton, had the rib cage on it.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool.
I love that one, but my favorite is the George Clooney Batmobile at the beginning. Yeah, it's kind of weird that the top is completely open and he's basically driving it as a convertible, but the design of that just stretched out behemoth. I own that toy and I fucking loved it, especially the snowmobile Batmobile when Victor freezes the whole city and it's like white and blue. I'm like, yes, I love it.
Yes.
Like, that movie really did its job when it came to selling toys, and I bought every single toy from that movie. Well, not me, but my parents got all of them for me.
I love the Tumbler too. I like that one. A bit partial to that. That was my first Lego set. Was a Lego tumbler, big one.
Yeah. Does it come in black?
I still like the Barris. I still like the Barris.
Oh yes, George Barris. Oh, let me supersize you here.
Hey, look. There he is.
Oh, whoops.
Woo.
How do I? Oh, there we go.
You almost got it. You can do it. I believe in you. There you go.
There we go.
Okay.
In his surfer outfit there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The reason that I actually wanted to do him surfing because this is the McFarlane one, and it's the car is slightly too small, so he doesn't sit down and he doesn't sit far enough down. So I thought I'll just have him surfing. I got the surfer Batman anyway, so I thought I'll have him surf it. So yeah.
I say, old chum, either I'm getting too big or the car's getting too small.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, of course, it's always great when they bring in a new artist to a new storyline in the Batman comics. And every time we cut to the Batcave, it's basically an excuse to draw every single Batmobile that has ever existed in live action, in animated form, and in the comics. And he's always got like 25 Batmobiles in like a carousel.
Like in the Hush comic where they have tons of them, like every single one that they're never
Exactly. And if you read the Superman Unchained book, where they're fighting in the Batcave, and Superman is basically, it's either Superman or the villain that's basically grabbing every single Batmobile and throwing it at him just to fight it. No, it's Batman. He's basically autopiloting every single Batmobile and crashing it into the guy because they're waiting for Superman, and the only thing he has to fight this guy is crashing all the Batmobiles into him.
DVB says Batman and Robin is the worst Batman movie of all time, but I get it, man. To you, Ernesto.
No, it is. Believe me, as a Batman movie, it is terrible. But you have to acknowledge that when we were kids and we saw it, you don't tell me that.
No, he's not disagreeing. He's agreeing with you on that.
No, exactly. But I'm saying in general, and as I agree to the point, it's just like, yeah, it's a terrible movie, but God damn it, the lovely toys that came out of it, man.
I love Superman 4, so I get it, he says.
Yeah. You know what's funny about Superman 4? When Brian Michael Bendis jumped on DC and started writing for Superman, there is a cameo of the Nuclear Man, and Vorgol Sol comes in and punches him so hard in the head it blows up.
Yeah.
And there you are, and there you're gone. Bye.
Yeah.
You were a terrible thing to begin with anyway.
Yeah.
Wasn't Superman 4 the one where you can tell that they were so lazy with the makeup you can see the sides of the bald cap on Gene Hackman?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh my God, that was like, and then that whole.
Well, that was made by a Canon. It's made by Canon.
Yeah.
So
I remember watching that scene, thinking, "Oh my God, you can see the cap, the bald cap, right there. It's right there." And then I think the first time I watched it, the one thing that I realized that this movie was going to be terrible. I mean, you could have told it was terrible just from any single point. But the moment Lex Luthor goes into that vault where it has the hair of Superman, and the hair is so strong that it can hold however many tons that thing was, yet somehow, okay, so it's super strong to hold it, but a regular scissors can cut it. It's like, come on.
Well, it's the crazy thing about that was that Canon had two movies out that year. Both of them flopped. One of them was Superman 4. The other one was Master of the Universe. Both out that same year. Both kind of destroy the franchise.
Yeah. Almost surprising that Dolph Lundgren didn't end up being the Nuclear Man.
Yeah.
Now that you bring it up, it makes sense why they were doing the Masters of the Universe. You got two blonde super freaks in it.
In fact, the costumes were similar as well.
Oh no, the costumes were fine. It was the execution. And you
Yeah.
know what? I would have forgiven that scene when he cuts the hair to take it if it was Kryptonite scissors. If it would have
Yeah.
been, if they would have paid even the smallest attention to detail and had Kryptonite lace scissors, I would have been okay with that bullshit.
Yeah.
And also my favorite animated introduction to Batman and Superman was World's Finest, the animated series from Bruce Timm and Paul Dini. And you see that introduction in the club in Metropolis where Superman puts his hand on his shoulder. That's enough. I won't have vigilantism in my town. And then Batman just grabs him and drills him to the other side of the room. And I'm just like, you see Superman's face like, the fuck? Did he just flung me on the other side of the club? Me? Superman?
Yeah.
This has never happened to me before.
I think. See what? I guess the big thing for Batman lately is that they're also having. We'll be soon seeing the debut of The Last Halloween.
Yeah.
Which will be pretty cool. Which has apparently been in the works for a long time because Tim Sale did do the covers for a lot of them. So it would be. I can't wait to read it. I might collect them individually, or I might wait for the paperback.
I think I might get them individually because I do own Dark Victory and the original single issues, which I collected years ago.
Mm.
So it would be good to complete the set with the actual single issues. It's just a matter of me finding a local store. Hopefully the town over has a local store and I can just put a subscription box for them and get the original Tim Sale art covers because the variant covers are nice depending on who's doing it. I know Jim Lee is doing one and Jason Fabok is doing another, but if you really want to keep the original, keep the original. And before this comic came out, the big Batman series coming out for the time was Batman Catwoman, where they introduced in the comics the Phantasm.
Yeah.
I haven't read it yet, but I did collect the first 5 issues before I stopped buying comics altogether. Not because I wanted to, but because financially I couldn't get them at the time, and I haven't been able to come back because I am not in the collecting mood right now. I'm too focused on steel books and paying a mortgage. Steel books are cheaper than comics, okay?
Oh God, yeah.
You should. I'm pretty sure if you would have seen me buying comics, I think I dropped a good $45 every week in comics. So if you add that up, because I was buying a good chunk of DC comics. The only Marvel books I was reading at the time were Jason Aaron's run on Thor, the Spider-Man books when Dr. Octavius took over. I picked up a few Iron Man books. I did pick up the Avengers series that Brian Hitch, no, not Brian Hitch. The guy who was doing like the entire Marvel series at the time, he was basically the reason why we got the incursion in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, because he did Secret Wars 2, and he was basically just remapped the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe until they relaunched the new number ones after Secret Wars 2.
Yeah.
So I picked those up, and then Image Books was around, so I picked up some of the Image books. Scott Snyder did something for Vertigo, so I bought those. So I was pretty much having a mainly DC comics at the time, but then I was going to stop when they were doing, I think it was while they were doing Scott Snyder, he was doing a line publishing Justice League event, which was supposed to affect all the comic books at the time, and he was doing Year of the Villain, where the villain was taking over, and that's when I stopped. And it was supposed, and I think I was supposed. I told myself that I was going to stop collecting comics once they did the Future Frontier or something like that, where
Future Foundation.
Future Foundation, when they were doing stories in the future but stories in the past, and you were supposed to catch up to them. That was supposed to be my end in collecting comic books, but I think I settled for picking up the Doomsday Clock comics instead, where they finally pitted Superman against Dr. Manhattan.
DVB says, not a comic collector, but there are so many comics to buy.
There are, and there are a lot of very good storylines. You just have to pretty much, you can look them up. Just find a good website that keeps the continuity, and you'll be fine. There is an issue sometimes that for whatever reason, DC Comics has this weird way of collecting its trades with certain books having some books and certain volumes not having the books it's supposed to have. Why they do it, I don't know, but it really fucks up your ability to follow the story at hand.
Marvel's done that with their new Star Wars comics a few times, and it's annoying. But yes, DVB, you've been told to get omnibus of your favorite characters. That's what I do. Most of my stuff are omnibus because it's just cheaper and it takes up less shelf space. Surprisingly, because it's like, yeah, I could click. Because the thing is, I don't actually have Long Halloween or Dark Victory as individual issues. Actually, I don't have any Batman comics as individual issues. So if I did collect the last Halloween, it would be the first one. It would be a novelty. Maybe it'd be worth something if I never opened them. But
well, they'll still be worth. Even if you do open them, they'll still be worth something because it's a matter of who still is going to keep them. That's the thing.
That's true. So I
Like,
might get the individual issues.
Say, for example, every single Batman #1 from the New 52 were to burn up in flames, and only you and myself have the issue #1. You know how much that thing is going to sell for?
Yeah.
A lot. It may not sell for Detective Comics 1939 or Action Comics #1, but it is going to sell.
Mm.
Speaking of which, they're taking the sold-out Batman Elmer Fudd storyline and they're giving that a deluxe edition in April.
Oh, that's cool. I have
You
that.
can get it at all sorts of websites like eBay or Thrift Store or A-Book, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But anybody have anything else to say? We've been on for 2 hours, 45 minutes. Tony, I know it's super late where you are. Or
No.
early, I should say.
Waiting for Tony.
It's early now, yeah.
Yeah, what time is it? 5 o'clock?
5:30.
Oh, okay. Well, it's time to go to work.
It's a Sunday, so you might be going to bed.
I'm probably going to bed, yeah.
Okay, perfect.
But yeah, this has been fun. Batman Day 2024. We should. As I mentioned, we are going to continue Capes, Cowls, and Crusaders to review the Penguin show. Hopefully, Steve will come back. He really wanted to do that because it was his idea. So we'll see.
Yeah.
I know he's going to be moving, so we might have to postpone when we start it, but it's okay because it's going to be running through November, so we could just do them whenever.
Are we going to review it when it's done or the same?
I thought we would be doing it the way Steve said, as a weekly series, but we'll see. I'm not sure. I know Steve is going to be doing some stuff and moving, so I'm not sure what the schedule is going to be in terms of what day we're going to do it on.
Okay.
We were going to do it on Saturdays when we thought the series was going to be on Thursdays, but now that it's going to be on Monday, we'll see. We'll figure it out.
Well, you can do it on Wednesdays because that's traditionally new.
Wolverine.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, DVB. Yes, great. It has been a great show. Thank you.
Oh, I know. I was going to mention this before. I think at some point you guys mentioned Batman fighting against Wolverine and everything like that. If you really want to, go to Bat and Son on YouTube and you can find
Bat and Son's great.
Where they
Bat
give
and
you a
Son's
version
great.
of where Batman fights and loses and Batman fights and wins. And they also have a very fun, if you really want to get super nerdy, they have a very cool Batman versus Deadpool and Batman versus Darth Vader. I highly recommend them.
And my favorite one is Wolverine versus Predator. That one's cool.
A personal favorite for me is Wolverine versus Wonder Woman, and it's only because he tells Diana, I got a game to play. Let's play just the tip.
Yeah.
Have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight?
What?
All right. Well, that's it. I'm Joker Cat here with Tony and Batman Jr.
Hey.
And let's see if I can figure out how to do this properly.
Hey, Cat, I got a question.
Yes.
What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age!
Well, actually, it's probably a meteorite.
Tony, get a taller chair. I think we're still live.
Well, yeah, it takes a bit.
Yeah. Well, at least that was the good send off
Yeah.
with the Ice Age joke and then Tony ruining it. But that was perfect.
It's a great show. Take care, he says.
Yeah. No, take care, TVB.